So why? Whoa! Whoa! Mogo mogo.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace, my go-to for making websites. More on this in a bit. So have you guys ever wondered what Japanese people are really thinking? Well, in this video, I wanted to share with you guys some of the things that they never tell you, but they're actually thinking inside of their head. So I've been in Japan for more than 15 years, and I'm going to be sharing with you some of the stuff that I've learned all along the way. In general, Japanese people like to follow the rules, so when others break those rules, it's very frustrating for them. On top of that, Japanese people don't like interacting with strangers, so they'll try to avoid speaking out at all costs. And the reason why I know this is because I've actually made a lot of these mistakes myself. When you do come to a different country, you want to be as respectful as possible, but it's just hard because a lot of the times Japanese don't tell you that you're pissing them off. But just keep in mind that I'm generalizing things. Not everyone is like this in Japan. These are some of the guidelines to help you guys understand what Japanese people are thinking, and so maybe you don't piss them off when you come to Japan. Number 1, not wearing masks in public.
It's over. The graduation is over. Thank you, thank you. Thank you guys, thank you guys. Usa-chan! Thank you for the 3 months, Usa-chan. Takashi, thank you for the prime. No, Samaru! No, Samaru. Gifto. Ni. No. Gifto. San. Ni. Ko. Arigato ne. I know, gifto. Juko. Arigato ne.
Public when you're sick. If you ever come to Japan or have watched Japanese videos or any of my videos for that matter, you'll notice that a lot of people are wearing masks, getting on airplanes or sometimes they're just on the train. So what a lot of people think is that Japanese people are scared of getting sick, and so they wear the mask to protect themselves from other people transferring any viruses or any sicknesses to them. That's actually partly true, but the other side of it is they're trying to protect other people. When Japanese people get sick, they don't want to transfer what they've caught or their illness to someone else, so they wear a mask to protect other people. So what actually pisses them off is that when someone else is sick and they're not wearing a mask. As a common courtesy, Japanese people expect others when they're sick to wear a mask. So if you're ever in Japan and you do get sick, it would probably be good to wear a mask. Number 2, squatting in public. If you've ever been walking the streets in Japan, or especially Tokyo, you'll probably rarely see Japanese people squatting. The reason for this is when Japanese people see someone squatting, they actually think that this person is poorly brought up. One thing that I kind of see personally in Tokyo, especially with tourists, is I'll go to a department store and I'll just see them like sitting against a pillar or sitting like actually on the ground in the department store, or maybe they're sitting on some stairs. This is actually the same thing as squatting in public. Japanese kind of view that as behaving poorly. So the thing is, in Japan, department stores are considered luxuries. So it's kind of weird for Japanese people to see someone squatting when they're trying to like get that luxury experience. It's kind of like seeing someone picking their nose right next to the Chanel shop or like the Gucci shop. So if you do feel tired, then definitely find a seat. I know Tokyo is a bit hard, especially because there's not a lot of places to sit. If you can, definitely try to find a seat, or what Japanese people will do is they'll find a cafe and they'll sit there. Number 3, blocking traffic. Now this kind of goes hand in hand with like sitting in—
Graduate at Deadland. What time did you go to the graduation? Congrats, ma'am. It's fast to finish, yeah. Because of COVID. Yam! Thank you for the 100 bits. 12. Are you going tomorrow, Alan? Apparently they're pulling a prank or something. Arigato, Eddie. Arigato, Kami. Yeah, maybe.
In department stores or squatting in public. Basically, you're making a nuisance of yourself when you're blocking traffic. So for example, you'll be walking on the street, you just see like a group of tourists just standing in the walkway and not letting people pass by. That just like really pisses people off because a lot of people are trying to get from A to B and you're just like getting in their way and you're not kind of considering others. Not to say that all foreigners or tourists do this, but Japanese people do it too. But as you get kind of older, you realize to be more courteous of others and you try not to get in other people's way. So if possible, if you need to stop, don't stop in traffic. Try to go off to the side where you're not actually getting in people's way. Number 4, expecting places like food stalls to accept credit cards. And now I've gone over this so many times in my other videos that Japan is still very much a cash-based society. If you're buying street food, probably not expect them to accept a credit card because it's just kind of common sense, common knowledge that these places don't accept credit card and they will get kind of like annoyed. It's kind of like, why are you asking me to take credit card when you know this place, these shops don't take credit cards? Because at the end of the day, it just makes you look like you don't have any common sense. All right, so it just started to rain, so I needed to find some cover, and what better way to do it than here? Let's continue on. Number 5, eating at tourist trap spots. Now this one, again, maybe doesn't piss Japanese off per se.
ノラのプロ引いたマイケルやった沢村ギフト10個ありがとうね。Dude! Thank you so much, Sawamura. 100 gifted subs. Thank you, dude. Thank you. Sawamura-san. Did you hit the oil field again? Alan, so gifted subs costs $5 each. So times one.
It is kind of embarrassing to go and eat at these kind of places because it's just so much food that Japan has to offer. When foreigners go to these like very tourist trap places and eat, it's kind of like, oh
yeah, the graduation was short.
Thing is, I've actually gone to a lot of these like tourist trap places myself, just not
Hey,
knowing better. And
thank
I
you for
kind
the
of wanted
100
to give you
bits.
some pointers on what's a tourist trap spot and what is not. This usually applies to, for example, like izakayas, Japanese drinking restaurants. So the ideal for a good Japanese restaurant would be a place like this that keeps it simple with minimal signage. What you'll find instead with like a lot of
Sawamura's gift amount is enough to make my annual income.
Their sign, it may be in English, but they'll also have a signboard with pictures.
Wait, what happened?
The thing is, eating at tourist trap spots. Now this one, again, maybe doesn't piss Japanese off per se. It is kind of embarrassing to go and eat at these kind of places because it's just so much food that Japan has to offer. When foreigners go to these like very tourist trap places and eat, it's kind of like, oh, you kind of missed out. Thing is, I've actually gone to a lot of these like tourist trap places myself, just not knowing better, and I kind of wanted to give you some pointers on what's a tourist trap spot and what is not. This usually applies to, for example, like izakayas, Japanese drinking restaurants. So the ideal for a good Japanese restaurant would be a place like this that keeps it simple with minimal signage. What you'll find instead with like a lot of tourist trap places is not only will they have their sign, it may be in English, but they'll also have a signboard with pictures, not only Japanese, but it also has English on the menu. You're kind of like, oh, so they are like catering to a foreign market. One of the biggest giveaways for this is not only do you see English, but you see like Chinese and Korean. You see like 3 different languages on the menu. You might want to step back a little bit because this could be a tourist trap spot. Oh, one thing though.
So is what he's saying is you shouldn't go to places that caters to foreigners? Why? Why shouldn't you go to I mean, I guess you're missing out on like places, but like, what if you don't know how to? Oh, my shoulders Dude, why do I always itch when I can't use my hands? I am planning to go to Japan, Alan. You wanna
This
come?
kind of goes against what I was saying. Like, for example, if you go to ramen shops, nowadays there's ramen shops that get really, really popular, and they have a lot of foreigners coming to it. Just to make the experience a little bit easier for both parties, they've just added the English to the menu, but originally they didn't have it. So it's not like they were like initially trying to like get foreigners to come. It's just foreigners started coming, so they had to kind of adapt and add an English menu. Oh, and this is probably the biggest giveaway out of all of it. If you ever hear one of those like aggressive shamisen music playing in the front of the store, you should probably run because they're like trying to attract tourists like you would not believe. But at the end of the day, if you want to come to Japan and you just feel comfortable eating at these like tourist trap spots, then yeah, that's fine. But if you want to come to Japan and you want to kind of experience like authentic Japanese cuisine, I would say just like try to stay away from these places. All right, so before I continue, I wanted to just give a quick
Whoa,
shout
whoa,
out.
whoa, 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 whoa!
Eat in Japan is you're supposed to just have dominant hand you're eating with your chopsticks, and you have maybe have your rice bowl on the other hand, and you're just number 7 for your free trial. When you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Paolo from Tokyo to save 10% off your first purchase of your domain or your website. Number 6, eating with your offhand underneath the table. So this one was like really weird to me because one, I didn't know this until after coming to Japan. And in
Samamura!
fact,
Let me translate this for you, Samamura. Samamura-san. Dude, this is so hard to type. Hold on. Ito mate.
to be honest with you, I still do
Ah,
it
you can hear
sometimes.
it. You can't hear it. That's what I said, Samamura.
誰かが、あなたはモデレーターになるべきだと言いましたが、私は、あなたはほとんどの時間、石油を掘るのに忙しいと言いました。
The way you're supposed to eat in Japan is you're supposed to just have dominant hand you're eating with your chopsticks, and you have maybe have your rice bowl on the other hand, and you're just like eating like this. But sometimes if you don't have the bowl in your hand and you're just eating the table, like I sometimes take my offhand and I put it underneath the table or like just on my lap, and I eat with just one hand. But apparently this is just kind of bad manners in Japan. This is something that Japanese kids grow up with their parents like telling them,
I've missed it.
6 free trial. When you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Paolo from Tokyo to save 10% off your first purchase of your domain or your website. Number 6, eating with your offhand underneath the table. So this one was like really weird to me because one, I didn't know this until after coming to Japan, and in fact, to be honest with you, I still do it sometimes. The way you're supposed to eat in Japan is you're supposed to just have dominant hand you're eating with your chopsticks, and you have maybe have your rice bowl on the other hand, and you're just like eating like this. But sometimes if you don't have the bowl in your hand and you're just eating on the table, like I sometimes take my offhand and I put it underneath the table or like just on my lap, and I eat with just one hand. But apparently this is just kind of bad manners in Japan.
Is it true?
This
Is that bad
something
manners?
that Japanese kids
Is that bad manners, chap? To do that? Yeah? Oh, naruhodo. See? See? We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
kids grow up with their parents like telling them to always show their other hand, because I think just in general people like to put their offhand underneath the table or on.
Actually, now that I think about it, I eat like this. When I eat, chat, this is how I eat. This is how I eat all the time. If I'm not holding something with my other hand. But do I do this? Do I do this? Like, should I just, so I can do this? Yeah, I actually don't even eat like this. No, hold on.
Their lap when they eat. I don't know if this is a thing in your country, but it definitely is something here in Japan. So when you eat and you want to have kind of good manners, then you should leave, or you should show your offhand the entire time, just like put it on the table. And finally, before we get out of this place, number 7, not cleaning up after you eat. So cleanliness is kind of one of those pet peeves that Japanese people have. They like to keep everything clean, you know, in general. So when you're eating in a public place, it's always like kind of proper manner just to clean up after yourself while you're eating, and especially after you eat. Maybe in other countries you expect the waiter or the waitress to clean up after you're eating, so you can like leave all of your crumbs on the table, you can leave, you know, your french fries or your noodles, it's just like spilled on the table. It's okay just to leave the table like that. But in fact, in Japan, it's like common courtesy to actually gather all of the napkins, all of like the loose items, and put it all in the
No, it's
while
not.
you're eating.
That's basic common sense. You're not gonna leave all the crumbs on the table. What? Isn't that just common sense? I don't think that's. I don't think you don't. I don't think you have to be in Japan to actually like do that. You know. You don't have to be living in Japan to clean the table. I do that in McDonald's. That's basic common sense.
And especially after you eat.
Mac.
Maybe in other countries you expect the waiter or the waitress to clean up after you're eating, so you can like leave all of your crumbs on the table, you can leave, you know, your french fries or your noodles, it's just like spilled on the table. It's okay
Well, I
just to
guess I grew up in
leave
the
the table
Philippines. We
like
do
that. But in fact, in Japan,
We
it's
don't
like
like wasting
common
food.
courtesy to actually gather all of the napkins, all of like the loose items, and put it all in the bowl or in the center of the plate. And then if there's any like spots on the table, just to like wipe it down with a napkin, make it kind of tidy, because in Japan no one wants to have like a really messy table even after they leave. Is that an international thing, or is that just a Japanese thing? All right, so that's enough about food. Let's move on to the next spot. Number 8, making people wait. This one actually pisses a lot of Japanese off. So in general, I think Japanese people are very punctual, and that's just because they're being considerate of others. They don't want to make other people wait. So when they're supposed to meet someone, say for example for work, then they'll usually arrive 5 to 10 minutes early on site. They'll probably like go up a minute or two before.
Wait. So if I told you guys I'm going to stream in 10 minutes, but I stream in 11 minutes, would you guys be upset? Yes. Yes, yeah. Yes. June is the word. June will make you wait 8 hours. Dude, in the Philippines, this is a Filipino thing. In the Philippines, if someone says, yo, I will be there in 5 minutes, they mean they will be there in 30 minutes. That's how Filipinos are.
Before going to the front desk and checking themselves in. It's just like, it's one of those things, being considerate is...
June didn't go to her sister. No! June didn't go to his sister's wedding? Because he was late? Nice. Aba. Okay lang yan.
Probably on the priority and like...
Because he wanted to stream. He was streaming. Oh, he was streaming. Oh, he had a big quarrel with his quarrel. Wait, how do you pronounce quarrel? Well, is it quarrel? Quarrel. Okay. Had a parents. Oh, he had an
thinking of
argument.
others. So the fact that you're late,
Quarrel.
meaning you're wasting other people's time. And Japanese people don't like to waste time, and in fact, they hate it when someone else wastes their time. In fact, I've been here so long, it kind of pisses me off, to be honest, when people that I have a meeting with are late. I'll actually set up a lot of international calls, like on Skype or whatever. People overseas are always like 5, 10, 15 minutes later. They email me just before, sorry, got stuck in a different meeting. And I think it's almost like common practice to be late when you're setting up a meeting. But me being in Japan and working in a Japanese style environment for so many years, I've just got accustomed to being on time, or if not early, to all of my meetings. So if you ever come to Japan and you're meeting up with a Japanese friend, you have dinner reservations, or you're just meeting someone for business or for pleasure, you want to be on time, if not early. So definitely keep that in mind when setting up your meetings. But there is one caveat to this. So as people get more comfortable with each other, then I wouldn't say it's accepted to be late, but it's more forgiven and it's not as big of a thing when compared
That's you guys with Unko-chan.
to if you are acquaintances or if it were a business meeting. At the end of the day, it's just being considerate, and sometimes I don't understand why that's so hard for some people. Maybe it pisses me off more than Japanese people. Number 9, talking to someone in line. So again, this one is another thing that kind of surprised me. Kind of one of those reverse culture shocks when I went in the States. I was just waiting in line at the supermarket, and all of a sudden someone behind me just started talking to me, asking me about the weather or the sports team or something like that. And I was completely shocked. I think it's because I've been in Tokyo so long that people here in Tokyo, at least, they don't appreciate it when a random person...
What's ora? Don't talk to me. What's ora? One person. Strong first person habit. Oh. Oh. Oh, that means me. Oh, that means like you're saying, oh, that's me.
just approaches them, especially if they're just doing their like normal daily tasks.
Oh, yo, they have Mac. Would they have a Mac? Sheesh! That shit massive. Who's Mac?
Going to the convenience store to buy something.
Excuse me.
It catches a lot of people off guard, and it kind of just makes people uncomfortable. I know there's people out there that like to talk to people, but if you want to kind of respect people's boundaries and their spaces, then you might not want to just like come up and start talking to them. So I think the exception to this is if you do have a reason to talk to someone. So for example, you are lost and you need like directions, then you can like say sumimasen, excuse me, and then ask for directions. I think this is probably more mainly to do with the city because there's just so many people, there's so many like interactions that could potentially happen that you don't want to like...
Yeah, I'm saying this now. If you meet me in the public, don't be shy. I know Japanese people are shy. Don't be shy. Say hi, okay?
Continue to
You have my permission.
get bombarded
Not bad manners.
with people. The people are kind of in their own zone in the city. Maybe if you were to go out in the countryside, it's less likely. People have their guard down more so. In fact, they may actually appreciate you talking to them. Don't take this as like all of Japan is like this, but maybe like in the city areas where people are just more closed off, then you might make them feel uncomfortable.
Nothing really
And
lucky.
finally, number 10, talking way too loud. Now, I see this all the time when you're on the train, when you're on the bus, you're in a restaurant, and people are just talking so loud that it interrupts your thoughts. It's kind of off-putting, and it actually pisses a lot of Japanese off. I've heard my Japanese friends comment about it. It's just something that people kind of like get really turned off by, because people do like their personal space, and someone like...
Do you guys remember when I was in the bus and then those girls were talking out loud? And a lot of people were saying, "Urusai." Urusai. Urusai.
a group of people are talking way too loud, kind of just being inconsiderate about their surroundings, then it just kind of like pisses people off. It just says that you don't really care about the other people around you. And I mean, if you're just like talking normal, it's not a big deal. But I will say that it's not like I don't hear Japanese people do this. I mean, like, you'll probably sometimes be on a late train and people are like talking loudly because everyone's drunk on the train, or you'll go to maybe like a festival and people are talking loud. But just like in normal everyday daytime scenarios, people like try to keep their voice down so they don't bother
How to eat Japan?
In this video,
Yo, this guy's planning on eating Japan.
I'm going to share with you guys my top 10 things to know when eating in Japan.
Oi. Oh,
Japanese food
I need
is
more
pretty
food. I need
awesome.
more food. I'm hungry. I'll be right back. Got more shrimps. I got more shrimps. I got more.
As you guys already know from watching some of my previous videos. But in this video, I want to share with you guys some Japanese restaurant and Japanese eating tips. If you guys think any of these are weird, disagree, or agree, let me know in the comment section. Oh, and if you want to help support my channel, check out my Sushi Girl merch. I'll leave a link in the description of the video. All right, let's do this. So let's talk about sharing food in Japan. So Japan has kind of a weird standard when it comes to sharing food. So it really depends on the situation. In some situations, it's not okay to share, while other situations, it's okay to share, and in some other situations, you're expected to share. Yeah, it's really confusing, right? First, where it's not okay to share. Here are some examples. So ramen shops with limited counter space is generally not okay to share. The reason why it's not okay is, one, they have limited space, and two, they usually have a high turnover rate for customers, and they want to get customers in and out. And that one seat is really important for them to be able to make money on. So if you take up one of those seats and you don't buy a ramen bowl, that's one seat wasted for them. But this just doesn't only apply to ramen shops. Generally, if a restaurant has a set meal, places that also have limited spaces, or whatever, when there's actually a long line and people are trying to get in, especially during lunchtime, then you're probably gonna not want to share. Oh, and even nicer sushi restaurants expect you to order your own meal. On the other hand, where it's okay to share your food is places like fast food restaurants, family restaurants, and cafes. So coming from the US, it's generally expected when when you go to a restaurant with friends that you go there and you order your own meal. At the end of the meal, you just pay for what you ordered. But in Japan, it's quite the opposite. When you go to a drinking restaurant, also known as an izakaya, and they expect you to share your food. And at the end, everyone just splits the bill, or the person with the most money sometimes pay if you're lucky. Now, if you have children, it gets a little bit more tricky. It's okay to eat in the places that I mentioned above, but again, you have to really consider what the restaurant thinks. My friends with kids, what they do is they actually call in advance to the restaurant to see if it's okay to share. Maybe that's gonna be a little bit harder if you don't speak Japanese, but that's what Japanese people do. So if you don't speak...
Teach me. If I were to say, onegaishimasu, I will share with my Emon friends. I need about 500 seats. How do I say that? How do I call a restaurant? Oh, Jen, what did you say? I was eating. Impossible. That's what the... Hi, Jen, I love you.
Japanese, then you're just gonna have to go into the shop and ask when you arrive. Basically, it's rude to go to a restaurant, order food, and not finish most of it. Not finishing sides, you get a pass, but it's considered extremely rude to not finish the main course. There is some gray area here. So for example, if you eat a ramen bowl, take down a lot of it, and you're super full, but there's still quite a bit left. It might be considered rude because it's still the appearance of not eating that much food on your plate. But if you're concerned with not being able to finish your meal, you can ask them to reduce the portion size, whether it be reducing the noodles or the rice, and they're happy to do it. It's completely fine. Oh, and one nice thing though is if you can't finish all your food, this is one time it's okay to share the food, just as long as the person you're with also ordered their own meal. What do you guys think? Japan is too strict? All right, so let's talk about a Western pastime, customizing your meal at a restaurant. Customizing your meal in Japan is not very common, like requesting no meat in your dish or to take out all of the onions. In general, Japanese people tend to not request changes to their meal because they think they'll offend the chef. But if you have an allergy, you should definitely tell them. Don't say allergy, they won't understand. Say arerugi, and then what you're allergic to. And the reality of it, it's difficult to do it in Japanese as well. So my Japanese friend who doesn't eat any meat, she always has trouble at restaurants. For example, she'll ask the server whether or not the dish has any meat in it. If it does, she tries to ask if they're willing to take it out. The first problem is the server doesn't really know what's in the menu when it comes to a lot of the ingredients, so they'll have to ask the person who's making the food. People that are making the food are often just regular workers, so they're not able to change the menu up so easily. They just follow one recipe for that particular dish. As you can see, just going back and forth between the server, the cook, and yourself, and just trying to figure out what's in the meal, what they can actually change, is a lot of work just in Japanese. So if you're gonna try to do this in English, then you're gonna be fighting an uphill battle. And even though they agree to give my friend what she wants or what she ordered, when the dish comes, it's actually not what she wanted and there's meat inside. So all in all, you can try to customize your meal, but more than likely, you're gonna have issues just like my Japanese friend. One caveat, if you go to the really nice restaurant,
I actually don't have any allergies. I have 0 allergies. So we can try everything in Japan.
like for example, a nice sushi restaurant. And when you place your order with a server, they will ask you whether or not you have any allergies or if there's anything you can't eat. So maybe another route is just paying a little bit more and going to a restaurant that will accommodate your allergies or your diet. All right, now here's some tips for my vegan fans. Just so you guys know, many Japanese dishes use broth that include meat or fish. Even some veggie dishes use broth that has meat or fish. There are restaurants though that do advertise a vegan menu, and those are the ones you should definitely look for. Otherwise, if it's not advertised, then more likely they're gonna have broth with meat or fish. Although, kind of a funny thing, I've gone to restaurants with my vegan friend and he's told them that he's vegan, and they actually asked him if fish was okay. The thing is, Japanese just don't have a lot of education when it comes to vegetarians. Many are unfamiliar or simply don't understand Western diets. My best suggestion for you is to do your research before going to any restaurants. The information is out there. What do you say before a meal? In all of the street videos, people are always asking, what is Maiko saying? She's saying itadakimasu, which literally translates into receiving. So basically, Japanese people say this when they're receiving the food for the first time before they eat. The thing is, Japanese people are not saying it for any spiritual reason or they're really thankful that they're receiving the food. They just say it because that's what they've always done, that's what they were taught when they were kids, and it's just the thing to do. So if you want to be more like a local in Japan, then say itadakimasu before you eat. All right, let's talk about the unwritten drinking rule in Japan. So when you go to a restaurant, especially at dinner, they actually expect you to order a drink, whether it be alcohol, soda, or even tea. So when you go to a restaurant and you order water, they might be a little bit surprised. Although it's not the worst thing in the world, it's just kind of weird. In fact, when I go to restaurants, sometimes I just order water when I don't feel like drinking. Hold on. The kids all just got ice cream. Actually, that might be a good thing. They're gonna be quiet for a second so we can finish this. All right, let's continue. And now when you guys go to restaurants and you see small water cups and the fact that they don't serve you water very often during your meal, you might know the reason why. So at the end of the day, if you want to be more local, then do the local thing and order a drink. All right, now let's talk about slurping. This one is probably something you already know, but it's worth the cover anyway. Slurping noodles or soba in Japan is completely okay. In other cultures, it may seem rude, but it's not a problem here in Japan. But unlike what a lot of people believe, it doesn't mean that you're showing the chef that you really like their food. It's just what Japanese do, like Westerners using a steak knife to cut a steak. Let me know in the comment section if that's what you were told, because I'd really like to know. Now let's talk about takeout boxes. Aside from fast food spots,
the only reason why I eat noodles like that is because it's dangling right here. It's like, you just slurp it up, you know?
takeout boxes are not very common in Japan. At the end of your meal, don't expect to be able to get a doggy bag to take home your leftovers. Generally in Japan, portions are served relatively small, so there's really never a case where you're gonna order way too much food, unless you just really go overboard, but Japanese people usually don't do that. That's maybe why Japanese have created the word toriaizu. Toriaizu means good for now when ordering in a restaurant. So when the server asks you if you'd like to order anything else, you can always say, I'm good for now by saying toriaizu. All right, so let's talk about this one. What you do at the end of your meal. At fast food restaurants, including ramen shops, you're expected to put away your plates and throw away trash when you're done. For trash, sometimes you'll see a very involved process to throw away your items. Liquids go here, plastic goes here, paper goes here, trays go here, plates go here, mugs go here, cups go here, and spoons and forks go here. You can't just throw everything away in one bin. And for ramen shops, it's always good practice to return your bowl at the top counter when you're finished. If the shop has a return area, then it's always nice to return your plate and your trays there. All right, now let's talk about money. Paying at the register. Many restaurants ask you to pay at the register instead of paying at your table when you finish your meal. Don't worry, there's no tips to worry about in this one. But one thing you should know is that there's usually a tray that's right next to the register where you're supposed to put your money or your credit card. Some Japanese don't like to transfer money by hand because they don't like being touched, so they prefer you using the tray instead. It's not necessarily rude to do so, but some people just prefer it. I personally handed over cash to cashiers and they've had no problem with it, while at other times I've had cashiers.
How much is 10,000? 100 is $1. 1,000 is $10. That's $100. Why?
directly point to the tray and ask me to put the money on the tray. At the end of the day, it really depends on the person, but if you want to play it safe, then always put your money or your credit card on the tray. Plus, in Japan, the smallest bills are 1,000 yen, so you deal with a lot of coins. So it does help to put the coins on the tray to help keep you from fumbling around with the change when you're handing it over to the cashier. All right, so that concludes my top 10, but something to keep in mind, these are general.
Why is 1,000 yen the smallest bill? Jesus Christ. Oh, it's the largest or smallest. Yeah, why is it the smallest, I mean?
There's always going to be exceptions to the rule. Not all restaurants, not all Japanese people are like this, so you just got to use this kind of as a guide. And
why Japan
this video is brought to you by Squarespace.
Foreigners?
Japan, one of the safest countries in the world. In fact, when it comes to crime in 2017, the Japan crime rate hit record lows with a total of 900.
One more. Last.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Japan, one of the safest countries in the world. In fact, when it comes to crime in 2017, the Japan crime rate hit record lows with a total of 915,000 recorded crimes, when compared to the US with almost triple the population, had a total of 8.9 million recorded crimes. For me, there's no better place to visit or even live, and probably why I've been here for more than 15 years. So if you've never been to Japan, then I definitely recommend visiting once, at least in your life. But before you visit, you might want to know why Japan arrests foreigners. Well, the simple answer is when many foreigners come over, they simply fail to understand Japanese laws, their severity, and the overall judicial system until it's too late. And believe me, I've seen and heard enough stories of foreigners getting arrested that I wanted to make this video for you guys. So when you visit Japan, you don't end up arrested. Because the last thing you want to do, especially coming to Japan, is get arrested. I won't be doing this video by myself, but I've actually invited a real Japanese trial lawyer to help answer some of our questions today. And without further ado, let's get this thing started. So Hugo's
Side dishes stolen.
finally here. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Yugo. I'm Yugo Ishibashi. I'm a Japanese lawyer. I like to consider myself as a trial lawyer.
Okay.
And I'm doing a lot of criminal cases. So today I would like to explain you about the Japanese justice system.
So maybe before we start about all of the different situations that foreigners could get themselves arrested for, maybe you can kind of share with me how the justice system overall kind of works here in Japan.
Okay. So if you get arrested, police will get you in custody for 72 hours. And within that 72 hours, they have to decide whether to detain you or not. The prosecutor will file a request. And if the judge approves such request, then you'll get detained for 10 days. And this 10 days, it could be extended for 10 more days. So in total, the detainment will last 23 days.
Bro, what if you visit Tokyo for 7 days and you get arrested the first time, the first day? You're in freaking, you don't do anything for 20 or for
And if you're a
13
foreigner
days?
and you don't have a permanent residency, it's likely that you'll get arrested and get detained for 23 days for one crime.
Okay.
Of course, if you have committed another crime and if they arrest you for that, that will
Don't
be
get caught.
46.
So if you say you shoplift and then you also assaulted someone,
Yes.
23 days each.
Yes. Peculiar thing about the Japanese justice system is in most of the other countries, you can request for a bail if you get arrested.
Yeah.
So
McGaming,
probably in the United
thank you for the
States,
5
you
gifted.
can get out of it in 24 hours.
Yeah.
But in Japan, we don't have that system. You only can request a bail after you get indicted. You can see a lawyer, but you cannot get bailed out. You cannot get outside the cell. You have to stay in custody for 23 days. Maybe after the 3 days, you can meet your family.
Okay.
50 minutes each day. And if you get indicted, you may get detained for longer, or they release you. If you get arrested for doing shoplifting, for example, or a bar fight, it's a minor crime. But if you're a foreigner, you don't have a permanent residency, there is risk that you will get detained for 23 days.
So just like, let me clarify this. Okay, we feel like you've committed a crime, then they'll take you to the police station.
Yes.
They'll hold you for 3 days. They don't have to charge you with a crime.
No.
Basically, they'll just interrogate you.
Majide?
And within that 3 days, if they don't charge you with a crime, then they have to let you go, right?
Or they ask you for detainment up to 20 days.
Ah, so
10
this-
days plus 10 days.
What happens if you don't speak the language?
Well, there's an interpreter, but 23 days, I think it's outrageous. Some people lose their jobs, lose their families. What happens during that 23 days?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the thing, they committed a crime. Of course you're going to lose your job. If you commit a crime, you deserve to lose your job. Am I wrong? Right? Yo, Coil, thank you for the 100 bits.
The police will do some investigation and you will get interrogated. No emails, no telephone. And although you have the right to remain silent, in Japan, the authorities construe that you have to be there when the officer questions you. So that's the difference, because my understanding is other countries, if you have the right to remain silent, you don't have to go through the interrogation. So that's also a big difference. So during that interrogation, you have to be in the room with the officer, and they will throw in questions and they will put pressure on you. Well, they will say like, it's better for you to plead guilty, and they are accusing you for a crime, and although you have the right to remain silent, it's really difficult, hard to exercise it, right? Also, one more thing, the lawyer is not allowed to be present during the interrogation. In other countries, usually the lawyers are with you, but not in Japan. They don't allow that here in Japan. So
They force you to confess? Majide? Oi!
a lot of pressure, and that's why a lot of people come.
Why are you looking into crime? So when I visit Japan, I won't get in trouble.
Confess, even confess what's not true, and thus the conviction rate of 99.9%. And
What? They have a 99% conviction rate because they force people to freaking confess.
this is called hostage justice.
Okay, what's that called in Japanese?
人質司法.
Like they basically force a confession.
Yes, because if you for shoplifting, maybe they would just tell you not to do it anymore, or maybe a fine. But if you plead not guilty, they will keep you for a longer period. After they indict you, you will be detained, and sometimes it could end up a year because they don't bail you out. The judge won't approve it. They want your confession. That's why it's called hostage justice.
You're better off just confessing.
Well, a lot of people will think that way. It's in a way rational.
What about an embassy, for example? Can they do anything for you?
Well, they can come and they can probably give your message to your family, but not much.
All right, so let me just take a quick break right now and thank our speaker. If the shopkeeper sees them, they get stopped. What's the process there?
Well, they will call for police. They will take you to a police office nearby, and probably you'll get arrested, detained, and the process I explained to you earlier, the 23 days. And also, if you ask for a lawyer, they usually have interpreter, but there is a language barrier. And usually, if it's a theft and if it's
What if I say, Royaru kudasai? Would they understand? Royaru, 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 Royaru. If you're a foreigner, will you be deported?
pleading guilty, and if he has a lawyer, we are trying to make a settlement with the victim, trying to compensate. But recently, a lot of
give a bribe. Boris-san. I have very, very much oil king. I can give 1,000 yen. so I can be free. ください。
Stores, those big stores,
Yeah.
clothing stores or merchandise, they refuse to settle. The reason for that is because the damage caused by shoplifting.
So, wait, I have a question. Is Sawamura still in the chat?
Sawamura-san, please take back me.
Wait.
Sawamura-san, もし警察に取り調べられたら、僕のことをバックアップしてくれますか
It's a huge, huge amount. They don't want to settle anymore, and they want to be
I'm in the police. おはようございます。Sawamura-san! 助けて! 助けて! Sawamura-san!
more strict on the punishment.
It's a warning sign to everyone else that's trying to shoplift.
The difference between the Japanese and the foreigners is the foreigners, especially those sightseeing tourists,
Yes.
they don't have a permanent residency. There's a risk of flight if they don't live in Japan. So that gives reason authority to arrest and to detain them.
Wow.
So it's a funny thing. If you get convicted,
Yeah.
for example, you were guilty, but it
Yeah.
was a minor offense, so court tells you to pay a fine, but you already spent like a year in jail. Well, the crime you committed was a minor, small crime, but still, they will put you in jail half a year or two, or even longer.
Until you confess.
Yes. Many times people ask me, should I confess? Even I haven't done it. But as a lawyer, it's really hard to say.
There's one thing I wanted to talk about. It was two roommates, and one of the roommates actually got some drugs sent to their apartment. Because both of them are living in the same space, they both got detained or arrested.
I think it's a matter of how strong that evidence is. If there's no evidence, they cannot arrest you, and there's no reason to arrest you. So there must be some kind of evidence. The question is, how strong is that evidence? For example, of what you have told me now, they found drugs where those two people were living, right?
Yeah.
So there is suspicion.
But it was only sent to one person.
The other guy says, right? Of course, if the situation shows, for example, if they go through your computer, they will check your email, and if they find like email exchanges with the other person.
Guys, what will they find in your computer if they interrogate your computer? Can I get a hiya?
「あなたのコンピュータを検索すると何が見つかるでしょうか
Can I get a hiya?
And the person who sent those drugs,
Yeah.
then probably you can say, I didn't do it, and there's no evidence. They will release you, or they will decide not to indict you.
But what happens if you don't give them your password?
Oh, that's interesting. For example, iPhone.
Yeah.
If you don't give them your password,
Yeah.
pass number, they cannot open it. Not even the FBI can open it, I heard. So there are people who refuse to give their password.
So you can do that on
Really?
the computer as well. You don't
Wait, you can refuse?
give them your password.
No.
What about your thumbprint?
You can refuse.
What happens if they force your thumb onto the phone?
They are not allowed to do that. Thumbprint?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Or refusing to give your ID or urine test, not allowing them to search your bags. You have the right to do that. And if you have a strong will, then probably you can go over that. But it's not easy for, how do I say, regular people.
So let me get this straight. So if someone gets caught with drugs, within those 23 days, if they do confess to that crime, and then once they're indicted, the court process, how long could take?
Well, if you're pleading guilty, it will be 2 months to 3 months.
Okay, so on top of the maybe 3 weeks you've spent, you can spend another 2 months in jail.
Well, if you're in Tokyo, it will be Tokyo Detention Center. Well, you can request a bail.
You can request bail at that time if you're gonna get
Yes,
indicted.
if you have.
Wait, how much are bails? Japan, how much are bails? Depends on your stuff. It depends on your case, but in most cases, bail is. Oy. 1 to 3 million yen? Wait, how much is that? How many? That's $10,000 to $30,000. Sawamura-san. Sawamura-san. So,
Have somebody who could
Sawamura-san.
pay for the bill, and if you have a friend, somebody who.
Okay, we'll vouch for you.
Yes.
So you get 2 to 3 months for the trial, and once that's completed, they sentence you.
You get sentenced for, let's say,
It
half
doesn't
year,
make sense
6
if
months,
it's
or a
cheats.
year with 3 years of probation.
Yeah.
But then there's the visa issue. That's a different matter. The immigration center cancel your visa, and then they will ask
Be
you to
careful
come to
not
the
to
immigration
reach
office,
one
and there you get detained again.
How long usually?
Well, if you can afford your own ticket, then not long. Otherwise, you will have to wait until there's a special airplane for vacation.
That's pretty serious, right?
It's serious, yes. Actually, not the crime itself that is serious. I think it's
Pretend
the
they're playing
system. I've seen people, foreigner, they got arrested for shoplifting. Onigiri, a rice bowl. For one rice bowl,
wow.
he was detained for almost a year, and after that, he was deportation. So
Do you think marijuana,
What?
cocaine is drugs, or is that something that's common for foreigners to get
He
arrested?
shoplifted
well, not only
onigiri
foreigners, also
or
for
whatever that thing
Japanese
is.
Or is that-
I think it's the system. I've seen people, foreigner, they got arrested for shoplifting. Onigiri, a rice bowl. For one rice bowl,
wow.
he was detained for almost a year. And
Jesus Christ, that is scary. What if I accidentally shoplift, chat? What if I accidentally shoplift? What if I accidentally shoplift?
And after that, he was deportation. So,
Do you think marijuana,
deported
cocaine
as
is
well.
drugs, or is that something that's common for foreigners to get arrested?
well, not only foreigners, also for Japanese
Or
people.
is that- But it is.
It happens often. Theft and drug,
Do we-
even a bar fight. For example, if you were fighting against a Japanese and
Yeah.
the police comes, of course, they will listen to this Japanese guy because they can communicate with this
Yeah.
person.
Oh, if a Japanese guy fights a foreigner, that's what? Because the Japanese person can defend himself. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it's discrimination. I'd say it's just like it's just unlucky.
You can't explain your story.
Yeah, it's the same overseas. If a Japanese person fights here in Canada and there's no one's Japanese and they can't speak Japanese, they're gonna side with the English person.
They can explain their story.
Imagine you pull up your phone. You pull up your phone. You pull out your phone. Yo, tomate, police. What is that? Wait, there's no sound. There's no sound. Never mind.
the police will just probably hear that one side. So what do?
They can arrest you. The same with the drugs.
So if the Japanese person says, oh, he hit me first, he assaulted me, the police can just arrest you.
Yes.
And
but
then-
there's also cameras around, so if you could prove that your story is true,
Okay. So if you do get in a fight and you did hit someone first, you're gonna go down this path.
there's a possibility.
Yeah.
But of course, it doesn't mean necessarily that you get arrested.
They may let you go.
Yes.
So let's talk about graffiti.
Okay.
I'm in
Oh.
Shibuya. I see it all around. Is it that bad?
Well, you can get arrested
Yeah.
if you get caught doing that, and the same thing can happen. 3 days arrest, and then 20 days of detention. But usually within that 23 days, and if he's pleading guilty,
Yeah.
we will try to contact those owners
Yeah.
of the building and negotiate with them and get into a settlement. If that succeeds, they will be released.
Like graffiti is pretty serious.
Yes.
It's not just like, oh, I just painted something.
No.
Forgive me.
No. And it's also, I've seen some cases. Those people I met were misled by the false information. Information says Shibuya is a free city. They are welcome to do graffiti. So graffiti artists, they gather to Shibuya and do their paintings, and the police comes by, friendly hello, and then they get arrested.
Oh, really? That's happening.
Dama saretana. Dama saretana. Ay, nahandayo. Dama saretana. What?
Happen?
Because they think they are welcome.
Because you see it everywhere.
Well, theft or graffiti, fighting, drugs.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not drugs, but other things. There are also a crime in other countries, not only Japan.
Yeah.
But what makes it so serious is not the crime itself, it's the system.
If someone does commit one of these crimes here in Japan, what should they do?
What you should do, it really depends on the situation, so I can't really say like you should do this. But you ask the police officer and they have to call for a lawyer.
Okay.
First time it's free.
Is it okay to not say anything?
I tell my clients to remain silent. There's no point in giving information to your opponent, right?
So if you guys have any more questions on this, I'll leave some information in the description of the video. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. So if you guys have any questions about what we discussed today, then leave it in the comment section. And
Oh, what is this?
sponsored by
last,
Squarespace.
last.
This is a
Mina,
$200
last,
apartment in Tokyo.
last. Promise, last. Okay, I actually don't want to play Apex, guys. I'm addicted.
So it's often said that living in Tokyo is really expensive, or that apartments are really expensive, which is probably a fair statement. But if you look hard enough,
Is this
you can
fake
find
ass?
some really inexpensive places. And that's what I'm going to show you in this video. I'm going to be searching for a $200 apartment. And luckily, the people at Nice Room Abuso have agreed to help me out with this search. But before we start, if you want to see what I'm doing on the daily, check out my Instagram account if you want to help support. $200.
And $200
Yes.
in Tokyo?
Yes.
Okay, it's quite rare, but like I can find.
All right, let's go. The first apartment is a 9-minute walk away from Tobu Nerima Station, which is a 17-minute train ride from Ikebukuro, so it's kind of on the outskirts of central Tokyo. But the neighborhood sure is pleasant. Many restaurants and shops, pretty much everything you need without having to go to another station. But let's see inside the apartment before we start calling the movers. So this 9.9 square meter studio, about 106 square feet, was built in 1950, so more than 70 years ago. Alright, Alright, so this is the first apartment. So excited to show you what it's like. Let's go inside now. Although it has a shared toilet room, there is no bath, so if you're staying here, a local bathhouse or gym membership is probably your best bet if you like taking baths every day. Quick note, Japanese apartments generally have upfront costs, such as deposits, which you partly get back when you move out, while guarantee fees, agent fees, and key money is out your pocket and never to be seen again. Also, some apartments may have monthly management fees, so be sure to factor that in. Okay, so
Take a shot. Take a shot. What the? It's a room.
Such as deposits, which you partly get back when you move out, while guarantee fees, agent fees, and key money is out of your pocket and never to be seen again. Also, some apartments may have monthly management fees, so be sure to factor that in. Okay, so this is what a $200 apartment would look like in Tokyo. Let alone it's on the outskirts of Tokyo, it is still $200. It has a lot of personality. So when you first get in here, you can see that it's about 4.5 tatami mats, less than 10 square meters.
Japanese prison. The floor will come off.
Let me just take you to the entrance area.
Jesus.
Just walking into the left-hand side, you have this kitchen sink area. I believe it works just fine. Being that it is a Japanese apartment, you do have this area here. It's kind of the entrance area where you just leave all your shoes. So
Is it clean?
whoa.
Oh my
You can
god.
see that the floor here, it's a little bit unsteady. The
Well,
stone
why?
entrance here is a little bit cracked, and so when you step on it, it does sink in a little bit, which is a little bit scary, especially since Japan is earthquake prone. So it does have a light here that works properly, so that's pretty nice. And then I believe these like spigots here, these little nozzles, are for connecting a gas stove, so you can probably put just like a little gas stove here. Interestingly, the apartment comes with its own broom as well. The door itself has 2 built-in locks, which is, I guess, is nice. You have a doorknob lock, and then you have the chain lock above. Moving
Mina. You can probably pull the door off of this thing.
on into this room. You have space for a desk, you have space for a bed, just enough space for yourself. It looks like though the tummy mats are just a little bit warm, so you just gotta, you know, I guess you just live with it. And the wall itself has just a lot of history. If you just look around, you can see something must have happened here at one point, and here as well.
Nothing to steal. That's true. Why would why would someone break in if there's nothing to steal?
So, and here you do have some closet space. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a clothes hanger, but I'm assuming that if you reached up here, you can put your own bar if you really needed to. It looks like the door is just right here. So if you needed to close your closet, then the door is right here just for you. The room does have 2 outlets, so if you do need to plug in some of it.
Wait. That's not enough for my streaming PC, bro. My streaming PC has 4.
Electronics, then this would be the place. Unfortunately though, I don't think there are any other electrical outlets around this place, so you're gonna have to use this and maybe use a power strip to get your electricity all around the room. But the positive thing is the room is not that big, so you don't need a long extension cord. So it does look like this apartment has fiber built in, so if you do want internet, you can probably install a router here and get a fiber connection. So if you are a gamer and just want to game all day, you can probably do it here. What's also nice is that
Wait! Majide! Oi.
So you get 2 windows on each side. Let's open this and see what the view looks like. That's That's nice. So I guess this one looks right into the wall. Let's see what that one looks like. Surprisingly, the window is really big. You can actually, like, it goes all the way down to my knee, which is pretty nice. Oh, it looks like it even has a landline here, so if you wanted to connect to a land phone, you can do it. The ceiling too also has a lot of characteristics. If you just kind of look up, you can see that it has different shades, maybe from over the years, and maybe some kind of water, moisture damage, and then, oh, there's even a hole over there. What's also interesting about this place is that the walls, it looks like it's made from a sand and paper mix. It's really amazing how it's lasted over the years. Also, this apartment doesn't have an AC, so probably in the winter it's going to be really cold, and in the summer it's going to be really, really hot. Nice, even the lights work. So that's pretty much all I can show you in this room, but it also does come with a shared toilet, so let me show you that right now. Wow, so this place comes with a full-on Japanese toilet, which you share with all the other people living in this apartment building. But the bright side is that it's pretty clean. But that's pretty much what you get here in Tokyo for $200. Now, if you want to go a little bit closer to central Tokyo, then you're going to have to pay a little
surprisingly clean.
bit more. Let me show you that spot next. Let's go.
Wait,
Before
how
I
do you
continue
poop?
on,
Guys, I have a question. How do you poop? Crouch? You crouch? You sit in the air? Ah! Muzukashi!
the full-on Japanese toilet, which you share with all the other people living in this apartment building. But the bright side is that it's pretty clean. But that's pretty much what you get here in Tokyo for $200. Now, if you want to go a little bit closer to central Tokyo, then you're going to have to pay a little bit more. Let me show you that spot next. Let's go. Before I continue on, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor. So go to Squarespace. So the location itself is a lot closer to central Tokyo. So this next place is just a little bit more expensive.
Ooh, $2,225. Okay.
Let me show you inside.
Not bad, not bad. Wait.
Alright, so when you first walk in, you can see that there's like an old school closet here for your shoes. Wow, look at that. It opens from the top.
What can you put there? Wait, what does the sign?
For your shoes.
What does that sign say? Share.
Wow, look at that. It opens from
Close the door. Close
top.
the door.
Alright, so here's the room.
This is
Let's go
massive.
inside. Nice! The room number is handwritten. I do love these personal touches. Oh wow, look at this room. This 9.5 square meter studio is 24,000 yen, about $225 a month, and was built in 1972, so it's almost 50 years old. So this is what you get for 24,000 yen. Let me show you around this place a little bit to kind of show you all of the different features. Basically, you have about 4.5 tatami mats, and like this is real tatami mats right here. First, you have the closet area, and you have 2 different levels. And what's kind of nice, it looks like it has some
Oh,
clothes.
Mogu. I got drinks, chat. I got drinks.
Closing curtains here, so that you can hide it, but it is a little bit difficult to open and close. The magnets don't stick very well. Looks like it even comes with some hangers here. Then just above, you have some more storage space. So I guess you can put, you know, like your suitcase or anything in there that you don't really access so much. Over here, this is kind of like your kitchen area. This one has a sink. It's actually running, but it doesn't look like it has warm water. The lights don't work right now, but I'm assuming that if you do move in here, they turn on the electricity for you. So there you go. And this here is where you can put your stove. You can actually buy a separate stove, put it right here. It has some storage just below. Like that. It's a
Better than before.
Space. I guess you can put all of your plates and cups and everything. It looks like that's the power right there. From right here, you have a cable running down, and I believe it's for a television set. So if you do want to get some Japanese TV, then the cable runs all the way from here. You can plug it in. One thing though, I love, you know, plugging all of my IT stuff inside of my rooms. But this place, 2 outlets right here for you to use. Hopefully that's enough. But yeah, you can see that this place is this wide. So you could potentially fit a desk here and then like a small futon, maybe a small single bed. And that's probably like about it. Here, interestingly, it comes with its own curtain. I'm assuming you can switch out to your own favorite curtain. And look, they even have a telephone cable just right here. But who uses landlines these days anyway? And the room has its own window. We are on the 2nd floor, so should be an alright view. Let's open up and see. Look at that.
Euriece! Oi! Nanda!
And just through the window here, you can see the umeboshi shop that we saw earlier. At least some sun does get into this room. The room does have kind of this window where people can kind of maybe see you inside if the light is on. One thing though, this room doesn't have an AC, so you'll probably be really cold in the winter and super, super hot in the summer. So another thing about this apartment building is that it doesn't have its own shower or bath unit, so you're gonna have to go outside if you're gonna want to do that. But it does have a shared toilet. So let me show you that now.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Okay, so we have 2 different doors here. Let's see what's behind door number 1. Wow, so this toilet doesn't look like the thing is that some of you Oh, so we're close. While she parks the car, let me show you around the station. So this last one is a 2-minute walk from Takenotsuka Station, which is about a 30-minute train ride from Ueno, so it's pretty far from central Tokyo and rather close to Saitama, although more expensive than the previous 2 apartments and exacts several months of initial fees. A place like this in central Tokyo would fetch a far higher monthly rent. So I just arrived at the apartment. It's just over here. Let's go. This 15.3 square meter apartment was built in 2017, so it's new and even better clean. Alright, so it's just right ahead. Better clean, it's new.
$500? Not bad.
And even better clean. Alright, so it's just right ahead. This door is a lot nicer than the ones we saw earlier. Wow, this room is a lot nicer. Be it it's double the price, it is just super clean in here. So let me give you a tour of this place. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel a lot safer in this place, especially since we just had an earthquake recently. It's actually 5 square meters larger than the previous 2 places, which just feels like a lot more space here. When you enter this place, it does have some security, so there is an auto lock at the entrance, so no one can just like come into this place. You actually have to type in a code or use a key to get in. And if you look right here, there's a display. If you have any guests come over, their face will come up on the screen and you can let them in. And also it has a remote here because it has an air conditioning unit, which we didn't see in the previous 2 places. In the summer or the winter, you should be covered. Just looking at the room, I can already see 3 to 4 outlets, which is nice. If you do have a
Yo! computer.
Outlets, which is nice. If you do have electrical items, you should be covered on all sides of the wall. This is the whole kind of center area. You can see my entire body. The ceiling is a little bit lower, but that's because it does have a loft above, which I'll get to in a second. You have this kind of cool blue wall.
What's a loft?
I don't know, I guess it's pretty cool. You can pull down these two bars right here, put a pole, and you can hang your clothes here if you really want to dry it, because it does have an air conditioning unit with a dryer.
Yeah! If you're going to stay in Tokyo, $500 a month? That's not bad at all.
Function, so you don't have to hang your clothes outside. Also, if you come over here, there's actually a place where you can put a washing machine. So if you want to wash your clothes, you don't have to go to like a coin laundry or anything outside. You can do it all in here. And then you also have your own kind of kitchen right here. It's like a one-piece set. You have the sink, you have the infrared heater as a stove. Although it's just one IH heater here, it should be enough if you're a single person and you don't do like a lot of cooking, but you do want to heat things up. And if you look underneath, there is space for, you know, your pots and your pans, your plates and your cups. It even has this little nifty holder for your knives. Oh, and look, this sink also has hot and cold water, which is really convenient. And unlike the other two places, this one has its own private toilet.
Oh my god!
What's pretty impressive about this toilet is that it's one of those Japanese toilets that has all of the bidet functions, which is, you know, very, very convenient for those that don't like to use a lot of paper. And it also has its own built-in water faucet. By using the same water that you use to wash your hands, it fills the toilet to save water. And plus, this place also has a shower room, so
oh my! Yo, we're staying here if we ever somehow visit this place. Yo, where is this? Wait. Wait.
You don't have Japanese apartment and it fills the toilet to save water. And plus, this place also has a shower room, so let me show you that. So what you'll find in a lot of Japanese apartments is that it'll have a shower unit, plus it'll have a bath unit as well. This place kind of saves space and just has the shower unit. Personally, it's something that I prefer to save space. I'd rather use the space that's taken up by the bath as a living space. So personally, I love just having a shower room by itself. Now let's have a quick look at the view, what we see. Looks like a wall outside. Let's check the other window. Okay, so this view is a little bit better. You can actually see some sun from this angle. And just looking above, this place has a smoke and gas detector. I don't even remember seeing one in the other two places. That all said, let me take you to the loft area.
They didn't have any. What?
Wow. Alright, so this place is just enough to have a bed. You can use it either as storage or you can probably put a bed up here. But as you can see that it's not a lot of height. In fact, if I were to sit straight up, I'd hit my head. But it's quite spacious width-wise. In fact, it's the same width as the downstairs. So you can probably fit a queen.
I think me and Jen can fit here. I think me and Jen can fit. Just turn on the AC.
Width-wise. In fact, it's the same width as the downstairs. So you can probably fit a queen.
Some Ay, Euriece! Sleeping, not
bed up here. And what's nice is that it has an electrical outlet.
Sleep,
so
not
if you wanted
something
to, you can charge your phone or whatever electrical device you had. If I were to lie down completely like this, see there's not a lot of space here. And if you had a mattress, you'd be like this high, so you would really be facing the ceiling. So this is what you get for $500. Granted that it's on the outskirts of Tokyo, I wanted to show you an apartment that had its own private shower as well as its own private.
I want more of this. This is interesting. Prices of different price apartments. Tokyo.
Welcome to the beginning of my apartment hunting.
部屋探し It means like room finding.
Because I know like rokehang. Is this like apahang?
Yeah, apahang. That's very cool style speaking. This is apahang.
This is apahang part 1. Guys, look at this. This place is huge. Oh, I really like this one.
Here another view of Sky Tree. 38.88. This place is pet friendly.
Hi guys. Look at this huge sink. Oh my
This
gosh.
is great. This is a great size. Yeah, quite ample space in the closet. So you get sunrise over here.
Beautiful. 皆さんこんにちは。Kimi channel no Loretta desu. So today, this is not a sponsored video, guys. I bet you're wondering who this is. But this is actually Jason,
Jason from Apps.
apps.jp, to show me all the wonderful bukken. I have never actually gone apartment hunting, like formal apartment hunting in Japan before.
We're checking out apartments and
Yeah.
seeing what's up.
You guys get to come along and we're going to check out this apartment. So let's start.
Yeah, the subtitle. I don't like it. There's no good subtitle. Ooh.
Have you guys ever wondered what a $4 million house looks like in Tokyo? Well, in this video, Have you guys ever wondered what a $4 million house looks like in Tokyo? Well, in this video, I'm going to take you guys inside of a brand new modern Tokyo house and then break down the costs. So, we'll be checking out this Niseitai Jutaku model house, also known as a 2-generation house. So this is your Japanese take on a modern house. It's pretty common in Japan for the grandparents to live with you. And as you can see, the 2 doors allow for more privacy. And what's pretty sweet is right here, we have wheelchair access for grandma or grandpa. When you enter a Japanese house, you'll notice the floor level is different at the entrance. This is where you take off your shoes. So, on the
Guys,
first
Americans are weird. Americans bring their shoes inside their house.
floor, right next to the entrance, this is where the grandparents live, in this tatami room. It has a table in the center for during the day, and then at night you can move the table over to the side of the room and you can put your futon down on the tatami mats. If you've ever visited Japan and you've ever been to a ryokan, this setup is very similar.
Okay. Do you want me to be complete? This feels like a small ass. Oh, in Tokyo. Tokyo. 400 million yen. Isn't it small? Jesus Christ. Just because you live in Tokyo, you'd be like a small ass $4 million.
In fact, a lot of modern houses don't have tatami rooms, but older generations are just more comfortable with tatami mats. That's why they offer this solution. Look at all these details. So cool. Oh nice, there's a little display area. Now, let's check out the living room for all generations. So this place is so big, it almost
always
feels
the
like
location.
a restaurant. One of the reasons why they made this place so spacious is that it's designed for 2 families. So that's why you have this big table behind me, you have this huge kitchen right here, and then you have
Best
that
of family.
big living room over there to the right. Well, maybe not in Western standards, but it's pretty big here in Japan. So just behind the dining table, you can see that there's a desk over there, and that desk is designed for the kids to study. So mom, if she's in the kitchen, or dad is in the kitchen cooking, they can still watch over their kids while they're studying. And grandma and grandpa can also obviously help with their homework if need be. This is the main kitchen. In a traditional Japanese kitchen, they usually don't have dishwashers, but in this kitchen, they've built in a little dishwasher. And they usually don't have large stoves, but they do have these fish grills. In Japan, many families cook a lot of fish, and these fish grills are a time saver. One of the things that I love about this traditional refrigerator is that it has just 2 soft freezing trays for your meats, which I love because I just put beers in there and it just keeps my beers super cold. And then it also has this like cool little egg tray, and right here they actually have an ice maker, so you put your water in here, and then just below you have your rice. And in the bottom section, this is mainly meant for vegetable. It's got a microwave stove and toaster. That's pretty convenient for your little appliances that you don't use so often, but then you once in a while use it. It just pulls out just like this. This is the air conditioning unit. In Japan, houses don't have central heating, so what you'll find is that each room will have its own dedicated air conditioning unit. So this room may be hot, but the next room, if you haven't turned on, could be super cold. But guys, let me show you one of my favorite parts about this house.
Oh,
Look, I'm inside. I'm outside. Yup, it has an open balcony just outside of the living room. I love how this is all connected in just one like free-flowing design. This is the bathroom and changing room. This is a towel room. Free-flowing design. This is the
that looks fancy as hell.
bathroom
Look at that.
and changing room. This is a towel rack. What's pretty nice about it, you see these common in lodges and whatnot. If you haven't seen these before, you just hang the towels like so, and it heats them up. You can touch it. It doesn't get too hot,
Wait,
but it will.
wait. These things heat up towels? Really? There's no way.
Will dry the towels even faster than if you just set it outside normally. Plus, it acts as a little heater for the room. This tub is pretty sleek, but it's not
Wait.
as sleek as electronic
Wait, I thought it.
controls. Let me show you. So what this tub does is it allows you to automatically fill the tub at a preset temperature. So you can specifically set it to 36 degrees and the water will be that warm. And then after using it a while, you can just press the reheat button and it'll reheat the water to the temperature you've specified. Pretty freaking cool. I mean hot. It also has its own air conditioning with dryer feature, so you can hang and dry your clothes inside of the bathroom.
How tall
Dope.
is this guy? Eh?
So this video is going to be a lot different than most of my video. This channel has grown so fast, so quickly in the last year. I just wanted to kind
How
of
tall
stop
is
and say
he?
thank you. So in this video, I'm going to share a little bit more about myself, answer some of the
Oi.
questions that you usually ask in the comment section. Just kind of like share my life in Japan. So let's of revenue or main source.
25 minutes. We don't have time for that, man. How tall is he? How do I manage? How did you get to memberships? Oh, wait. Eh? Wait, this is football. Who is that? Eh? Dude. Paulo from Tokyo. Wiki. Paulo. Eh? Who's this? Rome. Oi. Guys, how tall is this guy? Paulo from Tokyo.
Soap. And this bathtub even has a lid. These lids are used for families because in Japan, the families often share the bathtub water together. And always one of my favorite. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. This is why you shouldn't move to Japan.
Wait a second.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace. This is why you shouldn't move to Japan. So many people tell me that they want to move to Japan, which I completely understand because I love it here. I love the food, the culture, and how safe it is, well, relatively speaking. But obviously, not everything is perfect in Japan. It's a small island with a lot of people living close together, especially in the cities, so there has to be some compromise. I think some foreigners moving to Japan don't come in with that compromised mindset and are rudely surprised when things aren't as they expected. So I wanted to make this video so I can share with you some issues that foreigners complain about when living in Japan. So maybe I can help manage your expectations before you decide to move your entire life to Japan just to later realize that Japan wasn't for you. But like always, before I start, if you want to see what I'm doing on the daily, check out my Instagram account. If you want to help support the channel, check out the merch. And if you have any questions about Japan or your Japan travels, check out the Discord community. Oh, and let me know in the comments if any of these are deal breakers for you to move to Japan, or if you think some of these issues are not worth complaining about. Alright, let's get started. Number 1, homes are small and expensive. Well, it's kind of true that homes in Japan are a little bit small, especially when compared to Western homes. But it's important to understand that in densely populated cities like Tokyo, space is limited, and the limiting factor would be rent. For example, a 1DK apartment, meaning one room, dining, and kitchen area, about 25 to 30 square meters in Tokyo's 23 wards, would be on average about $780 per month. That's $780.
Oi. Oi. Oi, 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 oi. 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 Nah. Oi. Eh? How big is it? Are you 25? Yes. No. One studio. How big is it? Can I see some pictures? Can I see like pictures? Okay, this is massive. What? Yeah, this is big. Wait. Is it big? Is it big? I can't really tell. How big is... So this is okay. Okay. So how much was that? $780, right? Let's look at $780. Minimum 780, maximum 1,000. Wait, what? Oh. 10? 2 bedrooms. Oh, yo. Wait, it's the room per rent. One bedroom. Studio, one bed. Okay. 2 bed. Yo, I swear to God, these pictures are purposely like making the room look bigger. Look how small that is. They purposely make the room look bigger. Freaking scammers, man. Ooh. What is this for? Oh, I mean, I guess. Oh, that's... Okay, that's actually pretty big. Okay. Okay, this one's actually pretty big. This one's probably... This one's really good. Yeah, this one's massive. Wait, 3 bedrooms? 3 bathrooms for $1,000? Yo! Wait, 3 bed... Whoa! What? See, this... Move the bed to the left. Make a bigger table. You have a streaming PC. You have a streaming setup. That's $750. Need more. Hey, the house is a 5-minute walk to 49th SkyTrain station. That only takes 10 minutes to go down. The house is only 1 step away from Marine Gateway. The place is for young professional students. Ooh, wait. Wait, the room is shared. High-speed internet, 500 Mbps, fully equipped. The house has free laundry, free parking. The house also has a back area for relaxing summer days. The house is shared with other young professionals. The roommates are around... Wait a second. What? Oh! What the fuck? What? Eh? Wait. It's shared. What does it mean, though? It's shared. 750. Room. Oh. It's not actually an apartment. It's like a room. Because I think you're only getting... this. But that's still pretty big. Yo! Buramon, thank you for the prime. That's still pretty big though, right? But still nice. 4 bathrooms, room for rent. Why is it always room for rent? Like... Oh, this place looks sketchy as hell. That. Yeah, you got that, buddy. You got that. Oh, 9 pictures. Oh. I'm thinking of like, where do you put your computer? Maybe like right here, you just move.
In US measurements, that would be about $780 for 270 to 320 square meters. On top of that, you may be paying a 2 months deposit, 2 months key money, 1 month agent fee, plus miscellaneous fees averaging between a 5.5 to 7 months of rent before you're even handed the keys to your apartment. And for some foreigners, that's just too much to be paying for that size of apartment. Number 2.
It's okay. We have Sawamura. Cold, cold. Cold. Yes, chat. We are dyeing our hair at 200. Someone do the math. 218? Yeah, 218 subs.
2. Clothing sizes too small. Not only do some foreigners complain about apartments being too small, they also complain about clothing. Obviously, many Japanese clothing stores market to Japanese people, who are on average relatively smaller in stature when compared to foreigners. So when larger foreigners try to find larger
Was that actually planned? Yeah.
sizes in Japan,
It was
it's
planned.
usually unavailable. But you may get lucky with a few select stores, and there are big and tall stores that cater to larger size people, but usually they're not as fashionable. Interestingly, it's easier to find helmet sizes. In fact, I got this one last year. I was pleasantly surprised that Japanese helmets are sized larger than what I was used to in the US. For
Nande? Why? Why? Nande?
example, in Japan, a small size helmet is equivalent to a US large size. Go figure. Anyway, if you're a larger size foreigner, then be prepared. Number 3, no return policy. Now, if you purchased any products from bookstores, electronic
Guys,
stores,
never in my life have I returned something. I have never returned anything that I have bought. Like, actually.
you generally can't return things in Japan unless there's a product defect, and even then, sometimes it's quite a hassle. Apparel shops though are a bit different, and it really depends on the store. Some are okay with it, some are not. But in general, Japan doesn't have that shopping culture where you buy it, take it home, try it out, and bring it back with a tag if you don't like it. Number 4.
Really? Do people do that? No, I'm being dead. I am being dead ass serious. I have never in my entire life bought something and like returned it. I'm being dead ass. No cap.
Too much paperwork. Although Japan has gotten a little bit better over the last few years, Japan is still notorious for paper pushing, especially when it comes to official registration forms such as with the local city hall, creating a bank account, and even signing up for a home internet connection. A lot of it must be done in person or submitted via post, as paper documents need to be officially signed or Hanko stamped.
Really?
Basically, Japan still hasn't caught up to the digital age yet. Number 5.
This is Majide? Oi.
Japanese forms are not foreigner friendly. So when some foreigners finally start filling out bank forms or any other forms in general, then they soon find out that some of the forms don't have enough boxes to fill out their name, especially if they have a
Why?
longer name, and even worse, if they have a middle name. See, Japanese don't have middle names, and they're usually only a few characters long. So when Japanese created their forms, they never anticipated providing enough space for foreigners, which creates a lot of problems down the line, especially especially when foreigners are trying to make transactions. The other party can't verify who the foreigner is because their half-written down bank name doesn't match their government-issued ID. Furthermore, as many businesses have moved online, you'll find the same issue with online forms that require you to enter Japanese characters for your name, or again, not having enough boxes to fill out your full name. It's a real headache for some foreigners, and it lasts their entire stay here
Wait,
in Japan.
I have a question. Tawamura-san.
沢村さん、どれくらいのペーパーワークが必要なんですか？
And number 6, small food portions. So portions served in Japan are generally smaller because Japanese tend to eat smaller meals. This is one part of Japan that some foreigners can't get used to when living here, and each meal becomes a cause for complaint. But look on the bright side, Japan has one of the lowest obesity rates in the world at only 4.3% compared to say the US at 36.2%. All I can say is that if you're really in a need for some more food, just order another plate. Before you continue, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsor for this video today, Squarespace. If you watch any of my videos, then you already know. But if you don't, Squarespace is my go-to. Yet they have updates. The Squarespace. That said, let's continue on with the list. Number 7, mandatory car inspections. So many foreigners that end up living outside of the city in Japan are gonna end up getting a car, and when they do, they're gonna need to get shaken, which is a mandatory vehicle inspection conducted to confirm whether a car meets Japanese safety standards. The initial inspection is effective
I don't mind it. That's
for
fine.
3 years, and renewal inspections are required every 2 years. The inspection costs about 960.
I thought it's free, bro. I thought this was free. $960. What? Bro, I thought this shit was free. Nah, I don't have my license yet.
$60 each time for a standard car. The fee is always the same no matter the value of the car. And even if the car is perfectly maintained by the owner, the inspection is still required. After 10 years, the requirements become even stricter. And some foreigners complain about this as well, despite every car owner in Japan having to do this every—
Yo! What? Majide? So the number of people with cars is decreasing recently.
year. Number 8, social conformity. Well, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, dude, just ride a bike. Just ride a bike. Just ride a bike. But
Many Japanese
bicycle
don't want to stick out from the group. So there's a heavy social pressure to be part of the group, which is very difficult for some foreigners to accept. Take work, for example. Many Japanese offices will ask their employees to drink after work with a team. Most will attend despite not wanting to in order to avoid being an outsider. Some foreigners argue that you lose your individuality in this case. But at the same time, this type of conformity has shown some advantages, as most people in Japan this year have been compliant with wearing masks. That said, foreigners who have trouble working with a group, or the ones who don't notice how important it is to conform to the group, may have trouble living in Japan. Number 9, weak drugs. Some foreigners will claim that over-the-counter Japanese pain medication is not as strong as their home country. But from my experience, it's probably more an issue with dosage than strength. For example, take this box of Japanese ibuprofen. Each pill is 200 milligrams, and it says take 1 capsule every 4+ hours up to a max of 3 capsules in 1 day. While this US bottle of ibuprofen also has 200 milligram capsules, and it says take 1 capsule every 4 to 6 hours. But if the pain or fever is not reduced, 2 capsules may be used, up to 6 capsules in 24 hours. So in general, Japanese medicines prescribe lower dosages than what some foreigners may be used to. But there may be an argument for over-the-counter pain medication in Japan to be more expensive. This 240 capsule ibuprofen bottle from the US costs about $15, and this 24 capsule ibuprofen box from Japan costs about $14. So in general though, when comparing prices from Japan to other countries like the US, Japan is usually more expensive.
ちょっと待って。
$15. And this 24 capsule ibuprofen box from Japan costs about $14. So
240 capsules is $1 more expensive than 24 capsules. Ay. Ay. Majite. Mina, one solution is don't get sick.
一つの解決策は病気にならないこと。
in general though, when comparing prices from Japan to other countries like the US, Japan is usually more expensive. So if you're gonna live here, you just gotta get used to the prices. And number 10, late releases. When it comes to overseas products such as technology, apparel, and even movies, it usually comes to Japan months, sometimes years after its original release, and a lot of times it never even makes it to the Japanese market. That's just how it is. At the end of the day, when you live in Japan, you're just going to have to appreciate Japanese products. And overall, when you're living in Japan, you're just going to need to accept how Japan does things, even though it's different from your country. And if it's going to be difficult for you to do that,
should I watch this?
This is a day in the life of a Japanese politician.
Should I watch this? Should I watch this? Oh God. Let's see how it's gonna be. Let's watch this for a bit.
That's her 2-year-old son, Hiro-kun. So she does a lot of the meal. Hiro-kun slowly works on his breakfast. Oh no, I think her son is getting fussy. Oh, Ayumi is making a kiara-ben. It's short for character bento, and it's very common in Japan to prepare it for kids so they can have fun during their lunchtime. After breakfast, she helps Hiro-kun practice reading hiragana. Finally, she gets time to get herself ready.
I need that.
And for her breakfast, she's having a banana smoothie. She takes her son to nursery school, in totally close to her office. All of the 23 wards, like Minato-ku, are classified as cities since they're equally independent and governed like a city, even with their own mayor. So I'm just in front of City Hall, and Ayumi should be arriving in just a little bit. Oh, there she is. Let's go see how she's doing. Good morning. What time did you sleep last night?
昨日は1時ぐらいに寝ました。
It's super hot today, right?
今日も暑い。もう今日も子供もとっても暑い思いをして保育園に行きました。
So Ayumi has been working as a city council member for over 5 years, and this is her second term. There are 34 council members in Minato City, directly elected.
Japanese space engineer. Japanese game programmer. Japanese car shop. How Japanese kids. Japanese airlines. Japanese home appliances. Japanese family. New Year. Japanese cosplay worker. Eh? Yamete!
This is Yuzuchi, 20-year-old female working as a cosplayer in Tokyo, Japan. And this is how she starts her unique workday. Her day starts later than most, as she was working late last night, which we'll get into later on in this video. But it's safe to say, this is not going to be like a day in the life of an average Japanese salaryman. How long does it take you to wear makeup?
化粧はスタジオ行く前だとそんなにかからないですね。10分ぐらいで終わります。
Oh, I guess she's going to the studio for a photo shoot today. Yuzuchi, what are you eating?
サラダとサンドイッチかおにぎりをいつも食べます。
She actually gets her food from the konbini 6 times a week, which is pretty common, especially for younger Japanese living in the city. It's quick and it's cheap. she needs to pack her own costume for the studio today. Oh, she has a bag full of something. What's that?
これは
Oh, Doraemon! Doraemon Hello Kitty.
全部毎日キャラクターによって変えるので、今日のキャラクターは赤っぽいピンクっぽいのを使うので、これを使います。
So how many costumes do you own?
10何着はあると思う。
And what's your favorite?
好きなのはこれですね。よすがの空っていうアニメのキャラクターのチャイナバージョンの服です。
Yuzuchi says she's into manga, anime, and video games. Apparently, that's one of the reasons she got into cosplay. Oh, why are you wearing a mask?
まだメイクが未完成なので。
Oh. Wait, isn't it COVID? Oh, no COVID.
As a cosplayer, her workplace varies day by day, depending on the cosplay event location and photo shoots. When riding the train, she's almost always on her phone. Interesting fact, statistics show that 90% of Japanese people riding the train are using their phone, so she's very much your typical passenger. Alright, so we're starting this day in the life a lot later
Guys,
than
I get dizzy when I look at my phone when I'm riding.
走行中に携帯電話を見るとめまいがします。
than normal. Yuzuchi should be coming up the stairs right now. Konnichiwa.
こんにちは。
Why do you have an umbrella?
あ、なんか今日天気悪くなるみたいなので持ってきました。はい。
Before becoming a cosplayer, Yuzuchi worked as a Japanese chica idol, performing with an underground group of young girls in a highly choreographed song and dance in events and live houses. The famous girl idol group AKB48 also started as chica idols, but now
What's underground idol?
Yuzuchi has
What
since
is that?
transitioned into a full-time
Landmines?
cosplayer.
What's landmine?
こんにちは。お願いします。
Yuzuchi, how did you get started in cosplay?
行ってみたらっていう誘いを受けて、それでイベントにまず行ってみて、そしたら楽しかったってなって続けてます。
As a cosplayer, she often gets offered to model for professional photographers like today. This is one way she earns her living. She's also able to make money by attending major events once or twice a month.
まあその角度で目線こっちする。OK。いいね。あ、かわいい。今の表情に。OK。ラスト1枚。はい。
Oh, that's gonna be the color of my hair.
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございました。
So, is your work done for today?
実はもう一つ私ありまして、それは夜にちょっと紹介したいなと思います。
So until then, what are we gonna do now?
お仕事が終わったので、お友達と待ち合わせしてカラオケとご飯に行ってきて
Eh? I don't assume. Don't assume, chat.
思います。
We're in the studio for about 2 hours, or actually even less than that, because there's like the setup part, and then she packs up, so it's even like almost like less than an hour taking pictures. I think actually though, I looked outside the window and it started to rain pretty badly. Good thing she brought an umbrella. Yuzuchi, what are you doing now?
あ、これからちょっと友達との待ち合わせに時間があるので、ちょっとカフェに寄りたいと思います。
Oh.
So what are you doing now?
あ、これからコスポっていうコスプレのアプリで写真を投稿します。
So in Japan, there's a dedicated cosplay app called Cospo, and it allows Yuzuchi to generate additional income every time a viewer likes her uploaded picture. And as part of her routine,
Oi!
she posts a picture.
Kospo. Japan. Wait, you earn money you earn money per likes? Yo. Mina. Mina. Where do I upload? I'm joking.
Every day. Oh cool, she found her friend Machiko. Now they're headed to a karaoke box, a pastime for many Japanese. The box itself often comes with free soda drinks, or you can upgrade to the all-you-can-drink alcohol package. Unlike other countries, karaoke in Japan is generally a private affair among friends, and while some Japanese even go by themselves during the day, many Japanese take advantage of the private space to let
Guys, you already know we are doing this. You already know we are doing this.
loose in the evening among friends.
You already know
This
we are
is
doing
basically
this.
her life. Like, we're halfway through the day and she hasn't done her main job yet, but it's actually been pretty good. So you used to dance when you were a Chica idol, right?
アイドルの時踊ってました。本当は踊りは好きじゃないです。もうしないです。踊りは。
でも歌は
歌は好きです。
Oh, it looks like the rain has let up a little bit. Nice.
Now what's her
Now
job?
they're headed to an izakaya restaurant for dinner, also known as a drinking restaurant. Izakayas will often ask customers to take their shoes off and put them in a shoe locker like this.
Oh.
Many Japanese prefer the izakaya style restaurant, as it allows them to drink while snacking on a variety of small portion food dishes. Due to small living spaces in the city, Japanese rarely invite one another to their houses, so izakayas have become the default gathering location. Private rooms like this one allow customers to get even more intimate. So it's actually already 8 o'clock, but it almost feels like a lunch because she has to go back to work. But before we go, I want to ask her a few questions.
I love how he's just here. Two of it.
So let's ask her now. So how did you two meet?
共通の知り合いがいて、でネットで3人で仲良くて、で実際会おうってなって。
Damn, making friends online is apparently quite normal for her generation. It seems like her friends these days were all made online. So what do you usually do with your friends?
I don't have, guys. All friends that I have are online as well. I don't have friends, guys.
You don't go to clubs? So Inka is slang for introvert. How would you describe it?
個室の隅っこでこうやってやってる。
Yeah. 俺は陰キャ. I'm also introvert. 俺は陰キャ.
タイプなんです。
わかる。
Oi. What is with the music?
BGM はなんだ
Oi. Oi. Oh! Oi! 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 Neko! 気をつけて!
So what character are you dressed up in now?
これはローゼンメイデンのひないちごです。
And what are you doing?
配信をやってるので、今から配信をしたいと思います。
So every night she does a live stream on an app called Doki Doki Live for 2 hours. Basically, viewers send her items during the live stream, which is then later converted into money.
全然写真ありがとうございます。
Jun Jun! Eh? Jun Jun? Doki 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 Live. なんだ Why is it all girls? なんだ
すげえ。ああ、なるほどなるほど。ああ。
Why is it all girls?
やっぱめめ様もさ、やっぱ
Doki Doki Live.
いらっしゃい。
ドキドキ。
ありがとう、ヤッホー。あ、定期ありがとう。もみじたい焼きスポーツカーハワイ旅行で応援してください。お願いします。
It's nice that she greets a lot of her viewers.
あ、そうそう、ひないちご。ローゼンメイデン。久々にローゼンメイデン来たい。あ、ブロックさん、もみじありがとう。
Oh, I think she's gonna sing one of her favorite songs.
忘れないで夢をこぼさ
てよ、教えてよ、その仕組みを。僕の中に誰がいるの。壊れた壊れたよ、その世界で。君壊れる。何も見ずに。壊れた僕なんです。息を止めて。ほどけない、もうほどけないよ。真実さえ。Please 壊せる、壊せない。狂える、狂えない。狂える、くすけて。揺れた予感だ世界にだんだん。
ないで涙あ、アンパンマン優しい君は小さすぎず大きすみたいんです。話すことなく
けなないで、うつけないで、ミクのことは。いつへないで、向かった世界の才能なんだ。ないで、奥へけて、僕のことは。
はい、じゃあ今日これで配信終わりたいと思います。来てくれた人ありがとうございましたじゃあまた明日配信しますのでまた来てください。バイバイ、おやすみ。
Finally, her work's complete, and now she gets time for herself.
おい、ちょっと待って。This is fake PUBG. This is PUBG Mobile. Isn't this PUBG Mobile in... What is this game? Yo, she's using emulator.
So Yuzuchi just finished. It was about 2 hours of work that she just did, and it's about 12 o'clock right now, and it looks like she's just playing games. She actually plays Cyber Hunter, this game behind me that she's playing right now, for 4 hours before she goes to sleep. I guess that's why she wakes up.
Cyber Hunter. Isn't this a freaking a ripoff?
Up so late in the day. What did you guys think of this day in the life? This is a day in the life of a Japanese game programmer. Masa, how long does it take for you to get ready for work?
だいたい顔洗って着替えてで5分10分ぐらいで 朝は終わっちゃいます。
M1.
Like most salarymen in Tokyo, he commutes to work by train. Door to door, about 40 minutes, so it's not bad. But more than half of his trip is walking to and from the train station. Not pleasant on rainy days like this. Alright, so Masa should be coming soon, but the typhoons these months have been really, really crazy. And look, the trains are super packed. Crazy typhoon, right? So Masa works for Bandai Namco Studios, which is the network entertainment unit of
His pants are wet. look at
Namco.
Oh,
They're known for
Mendo.
developing popular game titles like Tekken, Mario Kart, and even Pac-Man. And there's about 1,000 employees in the Tokyo office spread across 5 floors.
Hiroichi, thank you for the 100 bits. Hiroichi.
That's his digital time card. He's officially clocked in now. Also, common in many Japanese companies is for employees to change into slippers for the workday. So this is Masa's office, very common Japanese style desk with low dividers. So Masa keeps his desk area simple, like many of his co-workers. It's very different when compared to Western desks, which are often littered with decorations and family pictures. First thing in the morning, he checks his email, as well as the internal company social network for updates, while also having a quick breakfast. Masa, where did you buy your juice?
これですか。近くのスーパーで安売りしてるやつをいつも買ってます。
What is that?
カロリーメイトはシリアルというか、あとクッキーみたいなものなんですけど。
So Masa's doing his morning task right now. It's gonna be some time before he has kind of like a break because he's pretty focused. So let's go walk around the office and see what kind of facilities they have. So right behind Masa's desk, they have a game corner kind of place right here. And they have the Switch, they have PlayStation, they have Xbox, and they even have some virtual reality gear. I guess you get to play games anytime you want, which is pretty cool. Oh wow, and just below here, there's a big computer. I think it's an Alienware computer. Looks like one powerful machine. Alright, so this is the break room area on the second floor. Let's see what they have. They separate all of their trash. You have your burnables, you have your cans and your bottles, and you also have your non-burnables like plastic. They have a hot water pot and microwave. So this behind me is their snack corner, but it runs on the honor system. So basically at the top, you have a place where you deposit money, all the different chocolates or candies, they have a price for it. And even the refrigerator has a frozen treats like ice cream and whatnot. And you just need to pay on the honor system and then take what you actually paid for.
Steal.
I don't know, how would this do in your country's office? Alright, and so let's check what's down here.
No one would
So this place says library, but in fact it's not a library of books, it's a library of games. Check this out. So they have all these different consoles, all the way from like Nintendo to PC Engine. I don't even know
what even is that?
NES here, GameCube, the original Sega.
What
Sega
is that?
Saturn, even a family computer. They have like every single game ever, and it's not just in this aisle. They have this aisle, and they have this aisle, and then they have this aisle.
What?
But this aisle actually looks like books. They even have all kinds of game cartridges from back in the day. Nintendo DS. They have like a baseball game.
Wait, baseball game.
I wonder how many years it would take to play all of these games. What's your favorite old school console? Because I'm sure they probably have it here. So this area here is their administration section of the office. It's kind of like the business side of the company.
Oh, Cyberpunk.
And this behind me is where all the executives stay. So this area is a lot nicer than the common area. But as you can see, the offices are fairly reasonable. The president's room is fairly the same size as the other executives. Finally, lunchtime. So he's Masa's doki, which means a co-worker who started working at the company at the same time. In fact, it's common for many Japanese companies to do mass hiring once a year for college graduates. Just outside this dope cafeteria, food
That's
trucks
pretty
come
cool.
during lunchtime. Apparently, the trucks vary each day, but damn, it doesn't look like a pleasant experience waiting in line during this typhoon. Masa, do you always eat here?
あとは大体外のお店に食べに行ったりコンビニで買ってきたりしてます。
So, is this the only office in
グ
Japan?
ループ会社っていうのがたくさんあってで、
はい
そのグループ会社で見るともうなんかめちゃめちゃあちこちにあります。
はい。ロースト合鴨丼の大盛りを一つ。
Oh my god, the rain.
そうね。
That's a decent option for lunch.
いただきます。
いただきます。
Itadakimatsu is a customary term used by Japanese before each meal, meaning let's eat or thank you for the meal. Looks like they have a little time before their lunch break finishes. I wonder where they're going. What is that?
これはですね、パックマンなんですね。みんな大好き。
Oh wow, they take their Pac-Man
It's
serious here.
massive!
Like all the games here, it's also free to play anytime.
Eh?
Masa, so what are you doing now?
これからはまた午前中の続きでコーディングの作業に入ります。
Oh, Mina.
Masa, so what are you doing now?
これからはまた午前中の続きでコーディングの作業に入ります。
Zetai wakatenai. Hi. Yep, public class startup. This method gets you. No, zetai wakatenai.
So I've kind of got some free time while Masa is working, so why don't we spend this time and maybe go meet some people? So apparently they have all their different teams working in different parts of the office. We're actually on a different floor right now. Excuse me, so what kind of work do you do?
はい、私はですね、先月発売になりました、コードベインというタイトルの、開発のプロデューサー及びディレクターをやっております。
What's Code Vein?
コードベインはドラマチック探索アクション
So Code Vein is a dramatic exploration action RPG with animated out characters in a challenging and dangerous dungeon environment. So can you show me?
あ、ゲームの内容ですか。
はい。
場所を変えて
はい。
お見せしましょうか。
ぜひ。
はい。ちょっと待ってもらっていいですか。
I don't think he was ready to show anyone the game right now, but he's just asking some of his guys to prepare the game for me, and they're gonna put it on the screen. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what kind of game it is.
主人公は吸血鬼という存在になりますので、こういった自分だけの吸血鬼というものを作っていくことができます。
Wow, this is an attractive looking game. How long did it?
Nanda. Eh?
こういった自分だけの吸血鬼と
はい
作っていくことができます。
Wow, this is an attractive looking game. How long did it take to develop this game?
このコードベインは企画した時から考えると5年近く期間がかかってます。
He also said that at one time there was about 200 people involved in developing the game, and even when it's released, development is still not complete as they update the game based on user feedback and create new downloadable content. Alright, this is kind of fun. Let's go ask more people what they're doing. Looks like just over there, the people having a meeting. Let's see what they're doing. Excuse me, can I ask you guys some questions?
はい、大丈夫ですよ。
So, what do you do?
今僕ら鉄拳7っていうゲームを作ってます。私の仕事は鉄拳7のゲームディレクターです。
What were you guys doing just now?
今はシーズンパス3っていうダウンロードコンテンツを今配信してるんですけど、
はい。
それのゲームの仕様の確認をしてます。
Can I get a peek at
I have not played Tekken for years. Should we play some Tekken, chat? How do we even play Tekken? Tekken on PC. How do you... Oh. マジでマジでマジでえ What? Should we play some Tekken, chat? Should we? I love Tekken. I love Tekken. It's difficult. I actually want to play this. Should we buy it, chat? I want to buy it just to play like whenever we're not doing anything. Seven 80 gigabytes. Jesus Christ, that is massive. Or 50 gigabytes. We bought it, chat. We bought it.
That what you're working on?
Secret.
Oh wow, they have a real deal Tekken 7 machine found at game centers right next to their work desks. I guess testing character functionality is part of a day's work for these developers. Or maybe this is how they settle arguments in the office. So it looks like Masa's not in his seat right now. He's supposed to be here, but I guess not. Maybe he went somewhere. Let's go find out where he is. Oh, there's Masa. He's having a Scrum meeting. I believe he has this meeting every day for 30 minutes. They review what they programmed the previous day, what needs to be done today, and share and discuss problems for the future. And they use software to manage all of the tasks and display it on the screen during the meeting. Oh, are you gonna code again?
これからまたコーディングの作業に入っていくんですけど、ちょっと疲れたんで、ちょっとあるところに行ってみたいと思います。行きましょう。
So where are we now?
疲れた人がこうお昼に休憩できる。
休憩するんですか？
休憩します。
Okay, so Masa has a full-on employee nap space at his office. And he even brought his own heated steam eye mask. He sure doesn't mess around when it comes to his naps.
Yeah.
What is that?
会社の中だと無料の自販機があるので、大体のドリンクはそこで取ってます。
Now he's back to his coding again. So basically, this is what Masa does all day. I mean, from morning till the afternoon, till the evening before he goes home. He is programming like this in front of a black screen.
Cold water.
Oh, he's going to the finance department to ask about expenses. So this is the second Scrum meeting, the sprint review, held once every 2 weeks. Usually, they combine it with their first Scrum meeting, but due to scheduling issues with one of the other members, they had to break up the meeting today. It is interesting though that they use post-it notes to do their final review. I guess sometimes, analog is just better. By the way, the meeting rooms can be booked from this digital panel here. That's pretty convenient. Now, he's finishing up his tasks, checking emails that he missed during the meeting, and writing a log of today's activities.
記録もつけ終わったんで、打ち合わせもありますし、帰ろうかなと思います。めちゃめちゃ腹減ってるんで早くご飯食べたいですね。
Yay! Finally, work is done! Just a little over 8 hours. But Masa says he does have to do overtime once in a while during large projects. Overall though, that's pretty good for a Japanese company as many other places require their staff to work a lot of overtime hours, which is often unpaid. Now Masa is meeting up with his workmen.
Wait! Overtime hours are unpaid in Japan? Oi! No.
For dinner.
No.
Otsukare-sama desu is another customary office term, often used to greet your coworkers. A difficult translation, loosely translated to mean thank you for your work. And today is payday, and it's Friday as well, so time to let loose a bit.
Dore. Oh.
Usually, in Japanese drinking culture, everyone orders drinks at their own pace, while everyone shares the food. Group splits the entire tab equally at the end, no matter how much each person drank or ate. Also, smoking indoors in Japan is fine as long as the restaurants are okay with it, which is usually the case with izakaya drinking restaurants. So Masa, what else do you do in your free time?
はい、ゲームとかいろいろあるんですけど、最近ちょっとハマってるのがあるんで、この後お見せします。先に失礼する。お疲れ。じゃあ、お疲れ。
え
Even after work, his PC desk is his go-to spot. Masa, do you watch YouTube?
僕がいつも見てるのはサンライズさんが最近ガンダムチャンネルって作ったんですよ。これでずっとガンダムを見てます。
Well, I don't know much about Gundam, but I can tell from looking around, he sure loves it. So what are you gonna do for the rest of the night?
寝るまでガンダムのプラモデルを作ってようと思います。作ってないのもたくさんあるんですけど、今日はちょっとこれを作りたいと思います。
So Matsu's gonna be doing this for another couple hours. It looks like he'll be doing this until midnight. So yeah, this is what he does at the end of the night. Alright, so that's a day in the life of a Japanese game.
Jesus.
This is a day in the life of a Japanese couple moving in for the first time together.
Oh, I like this. I like this.
This is a day in the life of a Japanese couple moving in for the first time together.
Stop!
So this is
stop! Okay, I'll stop! What's wrong with it? Yamete. Disgusting! It's painful. Works for us. Okay, alright. Why Japanese don't like foreigners?
Let's talk about why Japanese think foreigners living in Japan are rude.
What?
Let's talk about why Japanese think foreigners living in Japan are rude. So I wanted to cover what Japanese consider rude that's not usually in your average blog or video. Probably fair to say that visiting Japan as a tourist and living and working in Japan is a completely different experience. It's no longer just about visiting the coolest sites or eating the coolest food. Foreign residents become a part of the daily grind with all of the other Japanese living here. And what a lot of foreigners don't realize is that there are a lot of unwritten rules here in Japan to help maintain the society until maybe it's too late. So I'm gonna share with you some of the more interesting unwritten rules that I personally came across to help anyone planning on living in Japan to avoid being considered as that rude foreigner. As always, these are general rules. Nothing is absolute in this world. Everyone is different, and some Japanese will be more sensitive to these rules than others. Also, I'm interested to know how these rules—
Wait! I saw something. What do Japanese think of... Wait, what is this? Wait.
It's me, Japan! I go to Philippines a lot. I have so many great experience in the Philippines. I'm so curious. Other people, I ask Japanese if I say Philippines. What things came up to your mind? In my case, if I imagine Philippines, I came Filipino people, cheerful and kind country.
Cheerful, yes. Kind.
Every food is so good. How about other people? I interview Japanese people. What is 3 images of Philippines? Are you interested in the topics too? Actually, I interviewed Japanese people and I was so surprised because the answer is very interesting. Today's topic is what is 3 images of the Philippines? Japanese. Before watch this video, please subscribe our channel and follow my Instagram. Manaharo.
じゃあ1人ずつフィリピンに対しての印象を3つ挙げてください。例えばマンゴーとか何でもいい。島がたくさんある。大統領がちょっと破天。
True. That's true. When was this? Yes. A correct answer. Correct answer.
抜く撲滅戦争。
That's so right. She's right. That's so true.
はいはい島がたくさんある大統領がちょっと勝てんあと
Does this mean drugs? Like, Duterte's nah, Duterte is bad, Chad. Duterte is bad. Duterte is bad. He's like the Filipino version of Trump. I'm not even joking. But we're not gonna talk about politics here, okay? There, I agree. My grandma has 10 children. My brother or my dad has 9 siblings. I have Tita Monette, 1 aunt, Tita Vicky, 2 aunts, Mommy, 3 aunts, Tita Gayan, 4 aunts, and I have my dad, my Tito Don, my uncle. I have one uncle, Tito Dan, 2 uncles, Papa Larry, 3 uncles, Tito Iking, 4 uncles, and Tito Ben, 5 uncles. はい。
貧富の差が激しい。あとみんな親切。
Everybody is kind. I don't know about that.
結構親切な場面あったかな。はい。じゃあ他に、果物が美味しい、あったかい海が。
It's not warm. It's hot. It's not warm in the Philippines, guys. It's hot in the Philippines. There's a difference between warm and hot. Very different. Ocean is beautiful. Oh, fun fact. This is not a fun fact. Baguio. Wait, no. Boracay. So this place, Boracay, is actually a tourist attraction in the Philippines. They had to close this place because the shit was too dirty. They had to close the entire island because it was too dirty. Dirty. This they had to clean this. Philippines. Beautiful ocean. Hi. They had to clean all of this.
バナナあとオンライン英会話とかの先生がフィリピン人だね。あとフィリピンはアジア。
もう半回答ばっかりですごい。はい。バイクがめっちゃ多い。
ご飯が全部甘い。
その通り。その通り。
あと物価が安い。
その通り。
蒸し暑そう。短期留学。確かに。英語の留学だよね。
日本にフィリピン人が多い。
どういうところ？
マジで？その通り。
お先にいました。フィリピンの方が結構いました。何やってるの？もうやめちゃったんですけど、ハンバーガー屋さん。そうなんだ。みんな優しかった。めっちゃ優しかったです。フィリピンに対してのイメージ。
Oh, one thing you guys need to know about the Philippines, right? Oh, Filipino people. Filipinos abroad or overseas, like if a Filipino traveled to Canada, Japan, or USA, they have a lot of part-time jobs. Filipinos have a lot of part-time jobs. They have like 4 jobs at a time.
印象とか3つ。
すごい自然が豊か。
2個目は？
英語がすごい喋れる。
なるほど。
What's up, guys? Sonotori.
3番目
Hiya! Hawaii music. I think there are many Filipinos in Hawaii.
あ、そうなんだ。ハワイは行ったことある。あ、そうなんだ。ありがとうございます。来る前のフィリピンのイメージを教えてください。
No, Sonotori! Hi! Sonotori!
I can buy cheap stuff. Sonotori. There are many holes on the road.
Sonotori! Sonotori! That's true. The roads in the Philippines are so bad. Dude, I'll tell you where I live. I'll show you guys place. Roads are really bad in the Philippines. It's a problem. Like, look at that. Like, look at the roads. You guys see that? You guys see this? Like, look at that. Look at that. She did. Oh, I remember this place. Oh, they... Wait, 1, 2, 3... They had a third... Oh, they finally finished this? Chat, this place was in construction for like 3 years or 4 years. They just finished this. Look at this.
There are many children in the street.
See, that's the thing though. There are a lot of children in the street, but I think that's what makes Philippines kind of lively. Because if you go outside, when I was a kid, I was outside pretty much the entire time. Dude, it's so fun to like play with kids outside. Yo! The same! Thank you for the 17 months! Thank you so much, the same. Time does fly by.
Philippines has a lot of school children everywhere. Everyday traffic jam.
Sonotori.
Image has changed or not?
いや、あんま変わらない。
Oh, it's same.
Sonotori.
How about you?
気温は過ごしやすい。意外と。
確かに。なんでフィリピンを選んだの？
Oh, wait! They are in the Philippines? Oh.
安くてアメリカ英語だから本当に言うと適当。
じゃあ運命的に。
俺は僕もマンツーマンレッスンができたことないからマンツーマンに使えたのと安い。
あー、なるほど。ありがとうございます。
delicious food. Oh, but I also watch her YouTube. Jelly bean. She looks like jelly bean. I really want to try the jelly bean food.
Yeah, because we don't have jelly bean, right?
People in Philippines have good characters and really good at relationships.
Okay.
Kind people.
Oh, you guys don't know Jollibee? This is He's talking about this. Oh no. Oh no. No.
Attractive.
Yes.
Eh?
They have good small.
Nande?
People in Philippines have cute characters and really good at relationships.
Okay.
Kind people.
Like attractive.
Yes. They have good smile. Japanese people sometimes serious face.
I know. Filipino is so cheerful and kind and smile.
Yes, like
Same
Jollibee.
Yeah,
I like it.
Thank you. If you have a chance go to Philippines, which place do you wanna go?
Many friends recommend me Cebu.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why?
Beautiful beach.
Thank
Cebu
you
is
so
very
much.
beautiful.
Before came here, what was the image of the Philippines?
Beautiful view and
Beaches.
nature, very good.
What else? Please give me 3
Delicious food,
delicious food. Okay, another one.
friendly.
Yeah. So after came here, your image has changed or not?
Same image.
So good image.
Good image.
Oh, that's nice. So view and food and friendly, the people.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh. R301.
Thank
Yung
you.
carbon.
Why choose Philippines?
Philippines is resort place, so I want to
Wait, you went to
go-
Cebu, Nemu? My dad is asking me what gun is good. I said R301.
So you can enjoy and you can study
Yes.
also. Thank you so much. フィリピンの印象。
フィリピンの印象はご飯が美味しい、物価が安い、海が綺麗。
おー、間違いない。日本と違うなって思うところとかある。
でもそれ以外なんか思いつかない。
そのインパクトが強かった。ご飯何が美味しかったですか？
でもセブンで何食べてたかな。ホテルの中で食べてたからあんまりあれかも。ベトナムとかのご飯食べちゃってたかも。
なるほどね。
フィリピン料理ってなんだっけ？
例えば豚の料理とか、シシグなんだろう、なんか
Sisig.
豚肉使ったお肉とか、確かにフィリピンでもあれだよね、海外の料理が多いかも。日本でフィリピンに
Chat, you guys know about balot? You guys know this? This is straight up fire. Best food, best food. I eat a lot of this. So good. It's so good.
対してどういうイメージあると思う？
リゾートじゃない？
海。なるほどね。結構似てる。
住んでる人も多いよね。
確かに語学学校とかかな。
アメリカとか行くよりも安い。
確かに近いよね、日本と。ありがとう。フィリピンの印象を3つ挙げて。
あー、オッケーオッケーオッケーオッケーオッケー。
印象？
フィリピンパブ。
日本で結構多いかも。
東京で見るってよりも地方に見ると
なるほどね。
ニューハーフが多い。
イメージちょっとあるかも。
Why are you guys saying ah? Eh? Nanda? Why are you guys saying ah?
あと、
高いでしょ。なんか出店とかがすごいあるイメージ。
Philippine pub. Oh, I've never been into a pub.
なんかあどこそういうイメージ。
バイクが多い。なるほどね。ネズミがたくさん。
その通り。その通り。
韓国行った時にネズミが多すぎて、東南アジアってこういう感じなんだっていうイメージを持ってしまったから、フィリピンもそうそうだね。バイクはそうだよね。日本だとバイクそこまでない。
あんまり
見ないよね。それが3つの印象ですね。ありがとうございます。
Five reasons why Japanese shouldn't come to the Philippines. Okay. I react to him reacting to her.
Humishu base.
Hello, I'm from Euriece! Magandang tanghali, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Kasi recently I'm doing like a Tagalog lesson, so suddenly very fluent Tagalog, diba? Like that. Anyways, today I will do this. He's saying, konbanwa, ohayo gozaimasu. That's what he just said. Reaction video. Kasi suddenly, hindi ko alam, recently I got dummy messages from my fans. And then this message is about like other vlogger. Parang, his accent is Japanese accent mixed with Tagalog accent. I'll translate it for you guys. Like that. And then ako, hindi ko alam sino. And then I don't know who. I don't know who. He got a lot of messages from his fans, but he don't know who. Let's just get to this.
Today's video is not usual video.
Wow. Hindi usual. Not usual.
I went to the Philippines over 6 times. I got so many experience. After I go back to Japan, I feel like I should not go back to the Philippines anymore. Every time I go to the Philippines, I feel like so many feelings.
Wait. Wait. Laban tayo. Fight is what he's saying. Let's fight. What do you mean?
5 reasons Japanese people you should not come to the Philippines. Let's go. Before this video.
All right, let's not block him.
Please subscribe our channel and follow my Instagram. Manaharo. Number 1. Your personality will be changed because Japanese person is very, very shy.
That's true. Sono tori. Hi. Sono tori. In the Philippines, random people will ask you, "Yo, how are you? Yo, what's up, man? Isn't the weather nice?" That's not usual in Japan, right? That's very shy. Very, very shy. Wait. Talaga? Ako hindi shy, diba? He's saying he's not shy. That's what he's saying. He said, "I'm not shy, right?" That's what he said.
And we don't care about other people, right? We only focus on like school, job. Sometimes we don't care about other people.
Other Japanese, pero ako, no. He's saying he's not. Not like that, diba?
But in the Philippines, it's totally different. The staff is so cheerful, like, "Hi, how are you? What's your name? Where are you from?" Filipino people is very, very cheerful. So friendly. I was
Tama.
every time
Right, that's right. Sono tori. That's what he said. Sono tori.
I feel like my personality is changed. When I go back to Japan from the Philippines, friends and family will be
Yeah, but
surprised.
that's not really a reason. Yeah, but that's not really a reason to not go to the Philippines, right? Mina! Ochitsumete, Mina! Oi! Oi! Ochitsumete! Ochitsumete, Mina! Oi!
Oh. Be careful. Also, my mom is very surprised because every time I
That's right. Really? Majide? That's what he said. Majide.
personality is changed.
Guys, if you really think about it, this guy is like me. Did you really think about it? This guy is like me, but reverse. He's a Japanese person trying to speak Tagalog, and I'm a Filipino person trying to speak Japanese. Ah! Yeah, because he just said talaga, that means majide.
Shampoo pasa. That is one of the reasons you should not come to the Philippines.
Hey, before I go to the Philippines, my mom always like you are value talaga, like that. And then
Before he came to the Philippines, his mom was like, "You are really crazy."
after that, I go to the Philippines and then come back. And then recently, very reunion, diba? With my mom. And the mom said, oh, value talaga. Hindi ako
When he went to the Philippines, and then he came back to Japan, his mom still said he's crazy.
change.
He didn't change.
Before, go to the Philippines, I already value, diba? Oo, parang
Jesus.
ganon. Pero, for me, she doesn't know about Philippines pa. Hindi pa. Ako, how do you call? Kuya. Mas professional Philippines traveler and Philippines, diba?
I don't know what that means.
So, for me,
I don't know what that means. Zentai wakatenai, mina. Zentai wakatenai.
is very cheerful.
Diba means right? Like, right? That's diba means right?
Siyempre, friendly.
Diba just means right?
She said, like, how are you? What are you doing? Like that, ba? Hindi. In the Philippines, musta? Oh, miss ko na kayo. Picture tayo. Oo. This is the Philippines, diba? So, she have to know more about Philippines. She already know. Pero, like, for me, ako professional Philippines, professional Philippines lover, diba? So, dapat you have to know the Philippines. I'm so angry. Like that.
Two, you cannot stand for the Japanese weather. In Japan, we have 4 seasons.
Guys, there's only 2 seasons. Actually, yes, there's only 2 seasons in the Philippines. Do you guys want to know the 2 seasons in the Philippines? Too hot, too rainy. That's it. It's either too hot or it's raining all the time. That's it. That's literally it. It's 2 seasons.
Autumn, winter, except summer, Japanese weather is so cold. Sometimes you can see the snowing. When we go to outside, we wear so many clothes, especially winter. But in the Philippines, it's so hot weather all year, even Christmas Day too. When I went to the Philippines on Christmas Day, I had so many clothes from Japan, like heavy coat. I did not use.
You can't. Chat, the lowest temperature, even in Christmas. Here, Manila, lowest temperature. Winter. Fahrenheit, 93 Fahrenheit. See. 33 degrees. 33 degrees Celsius.
Hey! Suddenly ads. Oh, wait. This ads is sobra 5:30 minutes. Sobrang tagal na ads. Ba ano nangyari? Sorry,
Advertisement.
Mother. I skipped the ads. Yeah, it's so hot.
You should bring like tissues, smoke
I don't know.
You should bring towels too because you will be sweat. Summer Philippines.
Japan.
Easily in the heat. You can
Number
get
3.
heat easily in the
Yes, if you're from Japan. I agree. If you're from Japan and you come to the Philippines, you will definitely get weight. You will definitely put on weight. Because we eat a lot in the Philippines.
There are so many delicious food. We don't have Jollibees in Japan, but you can find so many Jollibees in the Philippines. Its cost so reasonable. It's so addictive. Also, we don't have night market except festival, right? Filipino food is sweeter than Japanese food. Japanese food is not so strong flavor, but the Filipino food is little bit.
You're right. That's right.
Price €1.
I feel
so hard to spend in Japan. Food are nice. You have too much fun in the Philippines.
Okay, but like, she's not really convincing people to not go to the Philippines. This title is clickbait. Clickbait title. Clickbait. Clickbait. Fake title, man.
In this video, I'm going to show you what an average day costs in Tokyo. So 2 things before I start. I recently created a Paolo from Tokyo Discord community where people who love Japan or people that might be traveling to Japan can connect and share information about Japan and all the things that they love, and also maybe if they have any questions, get it answered in the community site. If you're interested, then links are in the description. And 2,
Pexa Chokela, thank you for the 3
send
months.
me the Weeble S, so for the rest of this video, we'll be filming it on my EOS R, and let me know a better way to start than to start in the morning.
Rent. Thank God. Why is the fake laugh track added in like every Filipino YouTube video, even TV shows? I guess it's kind of just like everyone got used to it. It's like like that laugh, right? Like like that. I don't know how to explain the laugh, but it's just kind of gone. It's just kind of. Do you guys go to gym? You guys go to gym? Who here goes to gym? No? Impossible with Corona? Mom does not exercise. Pantene. Oi! No! He's laughing all the time.
And that's the basic living cost. Obviously, you can live a more frugal or extravagant lifestyle, but this should give you a quick reference on how much it would roughly.
Dude, 3,330. 30. Lie? Too much? Lie? Lie? Too much money? This guy is stupid. Too expensive? Yeah, Jesus Christ. I saw some Japan
This video
average
is brought to you by
salary.
Squarespace. Since doing my Japan day in the life videos and Japan daily cost videos, I get a lot of comments asking how much do Japanese people make. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Since doing my Japan day in the life videos and Japan daily cost videos,
Is
I
it
get a lot of
Sawamura's
comments
day?
asking how much do Japanese.
That's right, Sanatori.
そう、今日は沢村の日だったのだ。
Japanese people make, or wow, Japanese people work way too much, or they have no lives. So I thought this may be a good time to make a video on how much Japanese people actually earn, as well as their working conditions. And I want you guys to let me know in the comments if Japanese salaries are better or worse than your country. If you want to see what I'm doing on a daily, check out my Instagram account. If you want to help support the channel, check out the Tokyo merch. And I recently started a Discord community. That's trillion, with Japan only having a landmass the size of California state. You would never expect such a small country to have such a high production rate, but Japan work.
Japanese people work less than you think? Wait, what? The chef did like everything. This is a lie. That's a lie. Dude, the firefighter did the like management like what? That's cap.
Less than you think. First of all, on average, Japan has less annual work hours per employed person compared to the US and China at 1,738 hours. So at the end of the day, maybe it's just a bit over-exaggerated at how much Japanese people actually work. There's probably something to say about black companies in Japan who don't fully report hours, but we'll need to work with the data that we have. And then when it comes to minimum wage in Japan ain't that bad. In fact, Japan has the 11th highest minimum wage in all the world, just in front of the US at $7.61. But if I were working for minimum wage, I would definitely move to Australia. And one thing that a lot of people don't consider is that
maybe they don't calculate overtime. That's true. Someone just says someone says we are lowering the average.
Japanese have a lot of days off. So Japan has a whopping 16 public national holidays per year, which is quite a lot compared to most countries. I mean, just looking at this list,
but that's the thing though. Those are the only days off you have, right? Because if the other, like the country we have here or in Canada, you have work days, like vacation days, right? Yeah, Drake.
The US
I've learned a lot so much
all the way
about
down
Japan.
to 10, but India has 21, which is quite a lot. So when people say that Japanese don't have time off or that they're always working, living in Japan, you almost feel like there's a holiday every month. And you also have a few days that are stringed together, like in Golden Week, which is end of April, early May. And then you also have like the New Year's holidays, which is like a few days as well. In addition to public holidays, there's also annual paid leave on top of that. In Japan, by law, you have to have 10 days of annual paid leave, which is pretty crazy because if you've known me, if you've seen my About Me video, then you know I've pretty much worked my entire career here in Japan. I can always remember taking vacations throughout the year. In fact, I would probably usually take 2 vacations because I had so many paid vacation days. On top of that, I also had time off during the public holidays. So I don't know, I always had something to look forward to even though I was working so hard. So now it's time to start getting to the meat of the conversation and talk about actual salaries. But before we do that, I've got to pay for Maiko's Christmas present. I want to give a quick shot and various in dollars annually. So let's get to the nitty-gritty. Let me know how this compares to you and your salary here in Japan is 4.2 million yen, which works out to be about $38,000 annually. So let's get to the nitty-gritty. Let me know how this compares to you and your country. Grocery store cashiers make about $23,000 annually. Retail sales are at 30,000, and basic office and computer work jobs average about 31,000. Ramen store clerks at 32,000, and ramen shop managers get bumped up to almost 49,000. Construction workers 34,000, and just above that, programmers at 38,000. Car mechanics make more at 39,000, and nurses at almost 44,000. System engineers get bumped up to almost 49,000. Construction workers 34,000, and just above that, programmers at 38,000. Car mechanics make more at 39,000, and nurses at almost 44,000. System engineers 51,000, and then high school teachers at 60,000, while Shinkansen drivers are at 69,000. Lawyers average close to 95,000, and doctors at about 113,000. And finally, prefectural governors at 204,000. Oh, and for those of you who are looking to move to Japan and become an English teacher, you're looking at just under 30,000 US dollars per year. But there is one thing that I should probably note. There is a gender discrepancy here in Japan. The average salary for men is about $50,000, where women get paid on average at 27,000 annually. And that's a pretty huge discrepancy, at least in my eyes. But how does that compare in your country? So another interesting fact that I came across,
You know, okay, I'm not gonna touch that topic.
and all of this research
I'm not
is
going to
that
touch
the
that
cost
topic.
of living in Japan is very similar to the US. In terms of living costs, Japan is about 4% cheaper than the US, which is not a
I was going to say something, but we're not going to
difference.
say
It's
it.
almost virtually the same.
We're
And
not going
another
to
thing
say
note
it,
for
chat.
those of you who are looking
We are
to
not
move
going to
Tokyo,
say it.
I can't stress enough that you get paid more in Tokyo. So much higher.
Sora,
here
thank
than
you for the
compared
prime,
to the
Sora.
rest of Japan. As I stated earlier, Japan's average annual
Huh.
Sponsored by
Japanese
Squarespace.
people really
Let's find
honest?
out if Japanese people are honest.
Oh.
As many of you know, I've been living in Japan for quite some time, and one of the things that people often ask me is, why do I live in Japan? And aside from food, one of the things that I deeply appreciate is how safe Japan is and how generally honest people are. But it's hard to explain without showing you, so I wanted to make this fun little video. Let me just say though that these are one-off examples. Not every single experience is going to be like this, and most importantly, this is simply just for entertainment purposes. Don't try some of these things yourself and expect the same results. And like always, if you want to see what I'm doing on the daily, check out my Instagram account. If you want to help support the channel, check out the Tokyo merch. You just got some fried chicken shirts as well. And if you have any questions about Japan or your Japan travels, check out my Discord community. Alright, let's see how honest Japanese people are. So I'm here in one of the busiest places in Tokyo, Shibuya Scramble Crossing, and I wanted to show you what happens when you drop your wallet, so I got mine right here. So here's the setup at the crossing. And here's my super duper bright green wallet. And to make it interesting, here's the Japanese 100 US dollar equivalent, 10,000 yen going inside. We'll be zooming into this area, and here we go with the first attempt. Boom, the fumbled wallet drop. Japanese person quickly spots it and goes after me for the return. And there you go, life back to normal. Right, that was easy. So I just got my wallet back, and the 10,000 yen is still here.
I will steal. I will steal.
So this one is quite interesting. What you'll find in Tokyo and many parts of Japan is that a lot of people will take their belongings and use it to hold their seat, sometimes even using their valuables. So today I've got my iPhone and MacBook to hold my seat. Let's see what happens. So here we go. iPhone and MacBook on the table for everyone to see. Easily worth over $1,000. Initial setup complete. Now let's go get my drink. Nice, looks like it's still here after a few minutes. I'll have a quick drink, open up my laptop so it's even more visible. Now let's try a little bit longer. Speed up the time. Valuables and drink holding steady. While we're waiting for someone to steal my computer, I wanted to mention during the wallet drop, in 2019 in Tokyo alone, there were about 4.5 million items turned into the lost and found, while only 1 million people reported that they lost an item. Meaning there's a lot of honest people in Tokyo, as well as a lot of unclaimed items sitting in the lost and found. Oh, and in Japan, if someone turns in money to the police, the person by law has a right to demand 5 to 20% of the money from the owner whose money was returned. But apparently, almost no one ever claims it. That's honesty without reward. Anyway, time to get back to my seat.
Okay. No one's going to steal something inside the store. They're scared, you know, there might be CCTV on top of the store, right?
And there you go, just under 18 minutes and my valuables are
Come
still
on.
there. That's a relief. On to the next example. Have you ever wondered what it'd be like to leave your bike unlocked in the middle of the city?
I'm scared.
Let's go find
I always
out.
get scared.
So here's the setup. Plenty of bikes parked on the side of the street, all locked up. And this is your standard busy street in Tokyo during the middle of the day. And look, there's even a locked bike parked at the railing. Okay, here we go. Park my bike like this. I'll leave the bike lock on the basket so it's obvious that the bike is unlocked. And now, let's see what happens. Fast forward a bit. Looks like no one's interested at all.
This one, it's like they would assume it's locked, so no one will steal it.
Maybe you should have had a more expensive bike. While we wait for a thief, let me share some information with you. In 2020,
Also,
Japan
it's easy to, you
had
know,
120,797 stolen bikes reported, while in Tokyo alone, there were 31,937 bikes stolen, making it the #1 reported crime in Japan year over year. Unfortunately, the police were only able to catch 7.9% of the thieves, so I'm hoping today I don't become part of that statistic. Oh well, there you go. More than 16 minutes later and the bike is still here. Could have done the test for a little bit longer, but I think you get the point. So I wanted to take a quick fried chicken break and give a shout out to our sponsor for this.
I thought he was I thought he was going to place the food if someone's going to take the food. Okay, no. Never mind.
So just in the middle of the city, the honor system is still alive and well. Let me just show you around this corner. So just right here, as you can see, they have farm fresh vegetables and there's no one here attending this place. Basically, you have to pay on the honor system. Looks like 1, 5, and 10 yen coins are not accepted here, but at least they've got some fresh vegetables at the stand. Let me show you how it all works. So I've saved the best for last. This is one of my favorite spots that I just recently discovered. It's a 24-hour self-service beer shop in a bisu that serves beer on draft. Let me show you. So they do have food and merch, but we're here for the beer. Luckily, they accept all sorts of payment types. Grab a cup. I can use QR code or just pay with a credit card.
We usually steal umbrellas. Naruhodo, naruhodo.
So I got my cup, time to pour the beer. Now, pour an honest beer. How many of you could do this at 2 a.m. in the morning? There you go, I've just poured the perfect beer. And like I said earlier, the best part about this place is that it's 24/7. So you can come here at 2 a.m. in the morning, 3 a.m. You can come here whatever time you want. And they have a draft beer ready to go. And it's all on the honor system. How awesome is that? So, what did you think of these examples? How does it compare to your country?
Okay. How Japanese kids are raised.
This is how kids are raised in Japan. In his day in the life a few weeks ago. We will leave links in the description. Kind of like this whole entire process the last 5 months has kind of opened our eyes to how Japanese raise their children. And we wanted to specifically talk about that in this video. Maiko is Japanese, I am Filipino American, raised in the States. We kind of want to share what we're going through here in Japan, trying to raise Wolfie. You know, some of the surprises that we've had along the way, especially surprises for me because, you know, Maiko grew up in Japan, so she experienced a lot of this. But this is kind of like what the stereotypical way to raise a Japanese kid would be, but again, it doesn't apply to everyone. Everyone's different. Also, we kind of wanted to know what you guys thought about some of these things that we're going to talk about in this video, how it applies to your country, how it relates to your country.
And in this video, I decided to join because I did experience being raised in Japan.
Yeah.
And I have Japanese parents,
Yes.
so I just wanted to share my experience with you guys.
Before we start, like always, if you want to help support the channel, check out the Hold My Miso merch. And before you go, hey everyone.
Hey.
There you go. He's such a smiley boy. Love you. Bye-bye. So this one is kind of crazy. Japanese moms spend only 2 hours away from their baby each week, whereas I think compared to American mothers, they'll spend 24 hours away from their baby. So basically there's like no time.
See, this is when it comes in. Okay. So this is what I think, right? Does this correlate to women in Japan having less annual income? Because they spend more time with their baby. Like, right? Like,
Ever where the baby is apart from the mom, right? At least in Japan. Why do you think that is?
Well, in Japan, babysitters are not so common. I mean, it's changing like nowadays since like there's more working mothers. But back in the days, I think there's no babysitters, and people expect you mothers to almost like suffer and like give everything, you know, for baby is actually like a good thing. They value suffering as a mother.
So basically, you're like a more respected mother if you're sacrificing for the babies and for the kids. That's kind of surprising to us, but you know, times are changing, so that's not necessarily the case for maybe some parents these days, but it's still one of the kind of mindsets that a lot of parents have in Japan. So the next thing was, I don't know if it was so much of a shocker, but I kind of anticipated it just because of the size of our apartment. But the sleeping arrangements here in Japan and sleeping in the same room with your baby and with your child. In fact, if you've seen our day in the life video with Wolfie, then you know that he sleeps in the same room with us, not in the same bed, but he has a crib right next to our bed. I think 88% of kids between 0.
guys, how are you going to sleep? How are you going to sleep if you're the parents of a children? In the middle of a night, like 12 a.m. Like, dude, how are you going to sleep? You're not going to be able to sleep.
0 and 3 sleep in the same room with their parents, and about like 69% of kids like sleep in the same bed as their parents. But I mean, it's common for kids to like be in elementary school and still be staying in the same room with their parents, or maybe even the same bed, right? Until maybe they're like
Yadarumaru! Thank you for the 3 months! What's up, man? I'm good. How are you?
Our house wasn't that big, but
Yeah.
since we had 3 kids, we used to sleep together in the same room. We call it a kawanoji. We sleep like a kawanoji, means sleep next to each other.
So I think one of the differences in Japan is they don't have beds, they have futon mattresses. So you have kind of like this bedroom with tatami mats. People just lay out their futon mattresses. And
That's
not just,
honestly,
like, bed.
chat, if you want me to be completely honest with you, this is way more convenient than having a bed.
Tatami mats. People just lay
Way
out
more
their
convenient.
futon mattresses. and
Uma,
not
thank
just,
you for
like,
the
beds
2
just
months,
lying
Uma.
down. like you're in an orphanage.
Yeah, it's on the ground. It's on the floor. Yeah. In our case, like we moved. My parents built a new house when I was in like early elementary school. That's when I got my room. So like I think it really depends on the family. Like when you get your own room. But usually like it happens in elementary school or junior high at the latest, I think.
We'll
Justice
decide as he
Poop!
gets older. He's,
Thank you for the
almost
prime,
6 months
Justice
now,
Poop.
So we'll see. So this one kind of piggybacks off that one. It's taking a bath with your parents, especially the opposite sex, and how long they do it here in Japan. So for example, right now we're just giving him a bath separately, but I think at the age of maybe 3 to 4 months, that's when parents start to take baths with their kids like that young, and they'll like soak them in the bath, and they'll give them like a proper bath together. But this like continues on, and the facts show here that all the way up until maybe age 10, 22% of moms and
Harudoshi,
sons
thank you for
take
the prime,
baths together.
Harudoshi.
And then like when they're 12, 14%, all the way up to 15 years old, like 3%. That's 3 out of 100 kids will like take a bath with their mom at 15 years old.
You'd be shocked
Yeah.
as a Japanese as well.
I'm pretty shocked.
Yeah, as a Japanese as well. That happens.
Well, this one was kind of weird where it says over 20 years old, 6%.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
みななみんな Fake? Lie?
That's pretty shocking. Yeah, so the next one is father and daughter up to 8 years old. It says 14%, and then to 10 years old, 25% still take baths with their dad. How old were you when you took a bath with your dad? What was the age?
Why? Over 27%.
小学校年少かな年中かな I actually don't remember, but I remember like I felt kind of weird.
Yeah. That's one of the things. How does that compare to your country? Let me know in the comments. So this one is kind of more a general thing when they're growing up, and how to kind of teach them or correct your child when they do something wrong, and just like kind of show them the way. In Japan, typically they show a lot more empathy teaching their children. So for example, instead of like saying, oh, you did something wrong, you're gonna get arrested, it's more of like, how is that gonna make the other kids feel when you take their toys or you do something, right? So it's like more of a show of like empathy.
Yeah, exactly. How I brought up, or like how my mother taught me.
Is that why
what
Japanese
I was
are more
doing wrong
nice?
is usually to think of other people's feelings. He's hurt, right? You don't want to
This is probably why Japanese people are more polite.
do that. Or let's say I was screaming and then jumping around in like a public place, and then my mother would be like, don't bother people. You know, like, not only the feelings, but also like you don't want to bother other people. And we say like 迷惑をかけない.
So it's like how it's gonna make others feel. So you don't want to kind of disturb harmony. You don't want to disturb like the peace. Everyone is quiet.
Always think about others. Life theme.
It's not like, oh, you're gonna get arrested. You're breaking the rules.
No, she never said that.
I think it's great to be able to get along with a group, but then at the same time, as someone that's always trying to get along with a group, you kind of lose your opinion and your thoughts, and so you don't actually think on your own. You're always thinking, okay, what does the group want to think? Maybe we have to kind of have a mix in there so that our son has kind of also, you know, considers the group and is empathetic and wants the best for the group, but also has his own opinions about things, and maybe we'll be okay to kind of stick out once in a while.
Yeah, totally. I think, to be honest, like me growing up, always have to think about others. I have to put others' feeling before what I want to do. So I never get to do what I want to do. You know what I mean? That sucks. So it's like, oh, I feel bad for her, so I guess I'm not gonna do that. You know, that kind of thing. That will like lose your personality or lose your.
ごめんなさい、みんなごめん。
Like identity. Does it make sense?
You won't develop your own uniqueness.
Yeah.
Yo, hey, yo. Actually, I shouldn't say anything. I don't know anything about, you know, your condition.
Yeah.
Trust yourself, man. Trust yourself.
We'll see. Before we continue, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsor for this video. First Snacks 47 Kids is that discipline is not only from parents, but it's also from groups. Meaning that you go to school or you join like clubs, and the discipline is kind of like shared throughout the community. So it's not just from your parents, which could be a good and bad thing, I guess. Maybe in some cultures you're like, no, the parents are the ones that are responsible for the discipline. But in Japan, it's kind of like a shared communal thing.
Yeah, I feel like as I grew up, I was always in the environment that I have to follow the rule. That applies at school, the club, after school. So I think if you're in Japan, you're naturally gonna be disciplined.
Yeah. I think what's also interesting is even as a little kid in school.
That's why Japanese people hate Jump Master.
You clean all together. I'll be walking by like nurseries, and I'll see like kids literally wiping down the entrance of the school, and like wiping down like the
elementary school?
like nursery or something.
A nursery school. I feel like I started in elementary school.
Okay.
But yeah, but it's good to learn how to be responsible for your own room.
The kids were like could barely stand, and they were like they were like
So
they were teaching them how to like wipe the windows and like.
They're probably not like cleaning that
No, they were terrible at
But
cleaning.
they're learning.
They're learning, so
cute.
they teach them at like such a young age. I guess to sum it all up, the parents don't have to discipline the child by themselves. They have the community, they have the schools, they have the circles, they have the, like, you know, the clubs to help discipline. So this one was another surprising thing, especially just walking around in Tokyo, which is like one of massive city, is seeing kids walk to school by themselves. And you know, they're small, they're probably like 5 or 6 years old, and they're walking to school by themselves. Not only are they walking, but they're taking the trains, and they're all by themselves. Shoot, Wolfie, when he's 5 years old, we're gonna let him like walk around the city all by himself. When you were growing up, did you walk around by yourself?
I did. I'm from really countryside, and there's like other big kids in that like close neighborhood.
Yeah.
So we meet up in the morning and we all go together, and there's always big kids. Watch out for little kids.
Yeah.
So I think it was pretty safe.
In that case, like
So
the kids
easy.
walked in like as a group. It wasn't like they were individuals, but I've seen cases where I've seen kids just like by
in
themselves.
Tokyo, on the train and bus, I see them all the time all by
But this is
themselves.
about
Yeah, we'll have
Tokyo.
to see whether or not that's gonna be okay for us.
Private
but,
elementary
yeah,
school.
It seems relatively safe. Like
Yeah, I
it'll be
think it's okay.
And I mean, good thing we put that GPS tracker in his.
どこに入ってんのよ。
And this next one was kind of a pleasant surprise, and it's how healthy kids eat here in Japan, right?
Very healthy.
Very, very healthy.
Compared to the States.
Compared to the States, yeah. I don't know about other countries and what they serve
まあそうだね。
for lunch. Yeah, so in Japan, they have kyushoku. You want to explain a little bit more about it?
So kyushoku is usually served for elementary school and junior high, maybe
Yeah.
some high school. I don't know. Maybe not. Like 92% or something of the schools are using it. So like basically,
Can I get a
almost all the schools
Mm-hmm.
are using kyushoku, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Delicious.
very balanced. The
Yeah.
menu changes every single day, and they have that eiyoshi,
Yeah.
nutrition.
Do I? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to know what we eat in? Do you guys want to know what we eat in lunch? Guess. Take a guess what we eat in lunch, guys.
お昼に何を食べるかはお楽しみ。ハンバーガー、フライドポテト、サンドイッチ、ピザ。
Everything out for a whole month, every month. The kyushoku company actually like cooks it and serves it.
Yeah. So like, exactly, what would you have?
So what you get in kyushoku, it's very balanced. Usually carbs, soup, and main dish and like side dishes.
Oretachi wa
Actually, I don't
debu
remember
debu.
Exactly. But for example, like white rice with like green peas on top, and miso soup with mushroom, tofu, and seaweed in it. Main dish would be hamburger, and side dish would be like horenso no gomae, spinach and sesame, and some kind of pickles or something.
It
Oh
wouldn't
my
be the same every
God.
day. They would just alternate.
Wait a
throughout the
second.
week. So you have like.
ちょっと待って. I remember. When did they change the Japanese flag?
It wouldn't be the.
Wait, I actually. When did they change Japanese flag? Guys, I know why. Okay. When did the Japanese flag change? August. Wait, what? Why did they teach us this in school? Majide.
The same every day. They would just alternate throughout the week.
I actually,
So you
now that I think about it, right? In school, when I was still in elementary, they actually taught us the rising banner instead of the current one. I know the meaning of the raise, like the beam. I don't know why they still taught us that.
have like entire months like worth of menu.
Yeah, every day is different. And oh, and you get gyunyu.
And milk. And what's interesting is that the monthly
Let's
fee
stop
for that
because
is
Koreans are
so
sharp.
cheap. Yeah.
Sorry, go man, go
4,300 on
man.
average.
It's something
Right.
like that, yeah.
That's for
It's
elementary
less-
school, and then about 4,900 yen
Yeah.
for junior high. I could just
安い
get
よ
that.
ね
Yeah.
I wanna get that too. It's so cheap.
Yeah, it's because they're producing meals about 4,900 yen for junior high. I for that is about
Oh, it's so cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4,300.
What? $47? $47 a month? Jesus Christ.
On average.
It's something
Right.
like that, yeah.
That's for
It's
elementary
less-
school, and then about 4,900 yen
Yeah.
for junior high. I could just
安い
get
よ
that.
ね
Yeah.
I wanna get that too. It's so cheap.
Yeah, it's because they're producing meals for 92% of the schools in Japan, right? Because they make it in volume.
Yeah, moms don't have to think of the menu every single day or like
Yeah.
cook. You know, making the bento is such a work. So.
But that's still something that they do. Like a lot of moms will still make the bento.
I know, yeah, they do, but like.
Guys, let's go to the school lunch.
じゃないかな、メイン。
Yeah.
義務教育で給食 is provided.
Let's go back
yeah,
when
I just
food is
remember
cheap.
In my school, we had like pizza and like a cheeseburger.
We struggling
and
out
tater
here.
tots, and the cheeseburger was like small and not very delicious.
School's trying to kill you.
Yeah, it was just the most unhealthy food ever. I'm glad that Wolfie has
That is
like healthy
long.
options, but if we
So,
decide
nah.
to make food for him, then that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think just overall it teaches kids like good food education, right?
そうだね。
And so
yeah.
they know like, okay, this is not good for me. Like I shouldn't be eating.
I
you know.
think at least you think the kyushoku as a standard,
Yeah.
like not healthy but standard food, like what you should have in a meal.
And then I think this last one is maybe will haunt us if Wolfie ever watches this video. Is it's not out of the ordinary for kids to grow up with their parents and live with them after they graduate from high school and college.
Very common.
In fact, 18 to 34-year-old single men, about 69% of them still live with their parents. I think women, it's about 59%.
Akachan Oji.
It's common. I mean, 34 years old
Akachan
and still
Oji.
living with your parents is quite a big deal in some other like Western countries.
It's me.
But in Japan, it's normal.
I wouldn't get surprised if somebody tells me like, oh, I live with my parents.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
I mentioned. I think this is an Asian thing because in the Philippines this is also common.
okay, but like Western person would have a different reaction, right?
Yeah. Wolfie, if you're watching this, you might be living with us at 34. Yeah. Alright, so that...
Alright, guys. Okay. I have to sleep. Dude, we watched videos for 3 hours and 40 minutes. We had... Jesus. I actually enjoyed this. Should we do more of this? Just watching and chilling? Oh, also we downloaded Tekken. Okay. We might play this soon. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much. I appreciate Sawamura for the Sawamura. Arigatou gozaimasu. Arigatou gozaimasu. Everyone, thank you as well for the gifted subs. Thank you guys for the prime subs. Thank you guys for the subs. Thank you guys for the bits. Thank you guys for the follows. I appreciate it. Tomorrow, right here. We are going to get our PC build. We are going to get our PC built tomorrow. I'll host it after my stream. We're gonna be watching Artesian. So we're gonna be watching Artesian right here. 9 a.m. for Japan. And yeah. We'll watch it tomorrow. We're just gonna be watching it. Thank you guys so much again. Have a good one, guys. Arigatou gozaimasu, minna. Sayonara, sayonara. Thank you guys again. Oh, Shy Guy! Oi! I am about to end the stream, Shy Guy. Thank you for the 5,000 bits, Shy Guy. Arigatou gozaimasu. Arigatou gozaimasu, Shy Guy-san. Arigatou gozaimasu. Koshita boku wo tsurete susume. Yataru, thank you for the 100 bits. I'm waiting for the chorus. Ryu, thank you for the 100 bits.